The continuous call team is thanks to the new Holden Colorado 7. Get up and tow. Today, footy fires up.
Plucks it out of the air and scores a wonderful try.
The continuous call team.
He's only a blade of grass short from scoring a try.
David Morrow.
Racing through, plucks it out of the air as easy as you like and scores.
Darryl Brohman.
They're a beautiful side to watch. They're so well organised and they've got the quality players.
Mark Riddell.
That was just courage, determination. It was outstanding.
And Mark Levy.
He took him ball and all. He gave him a big bear hug like he loved him and put him to the ground.
The continuous call team is thanks to Holden, Coles Supermarkets, Lowe's, Coates Hire, Shimano, McDonald's, Tyre Power, Bryden's Compensation Lawyers, Harvey Norman, 7 News, Crown Bet, Paddy's Markets, AAMI, the Daily and Sunday Telegraph, IMB, Accor Hotels and Blackwoods.
Goes to the clean pair of heels, runs around the ball and scores a wonderful try.
Canterbury Bulldogs versus South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Oh, great try. That was beautiful work, straight down the gut, and that was lovely footy.
Now, live right across Australia, Mark Levy.
Yes, good afternoon. Happy Easter to you from ANZ Stadium, where we've got a grand final replay. South Sydney and Canterbury to meet again for the first time since last October's NRL decider. The Rabbitohs proving too good in that match, and they've carried that form into the first 4 rounds of the competition. And the Bulldogs, well, they're in the same boat with 3 wins and a loss to start the 2015 Telstra Premiership. We'll check the weather conditions in a moment with Mark Piggy Riddell, who's down on the touchline as the rain starts to fall out here at Sydney Olympic Park. And we'll say hello to David Morrow and the big man Darryl Brohman, who alongside me up here in the commentary box. But first, the team news. Josh Reynolds drops back to the bench for the Bulldogs. 19, Moses Mbai comes into the starting side. You can scratch Tim Brown from that bench. And for South Sydney, 18, Jason Clark starts the match at lock forward with Tim Grant dropping back to the bench. Rule a line through Cameron McGuinness. They're the team news here at Finn First Grade. The lead referee, Gerard Sutton. His assistant for the match is Gavin Morris, and the video referees are Bernard Sutton and Luke Phillips. Earlier in the Holden Cup for Shimano, Canterbury 20 beat South Sydney 18, and a fantastic crowd on hand for what should be a beauty as round 5 gets underway. All right, let's welcome in the team, starting with David Morrow, who'll be calling all of the action for you. Thirsty, good afternoon to you and happy Easter, my friend.
Happy Easter, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Easter to everyone listening as well. Glorious match in prospect here. These two teams met in the grand final last year, and it was probably in the balance, although I think most people who saw the first half thought, well, South will probably get them, but it was that fabulous try from George Burgess that absolutely split them Bulldogs apart, and from then on it was just the heavens opened up and it rained South Sydney tries and they won easily. I don't think it's going to be quite as easy for them tonight. In fact, I think it'll be a lot tougher, and you know, it's amazing. Losing a game like that, gee, it spurs you on the next time you play. So the Dogs I reckon they'll be ready to really spring something on South today, but whether they can do it or not, let's just hope it's a cracking match. And at basically 5:45, we still don't know who's going to win the game. That's what we really want to see anyway.
Exactly right. The big man Darryl Brohman's alongside us here in the box. Big man, good afternoon.
Hi Mark, g'day Thirsty. Well, it's not a great afternoon here. There's a little bit of rain, I think, falling here at the moment, and poor old Piggy's down the sideline, so I don't know if he's in for a wet afternoon. It's only fairly light, but it's enough to keep a few people away. And saying that, it's not a bad crowd here. I would say there's probably 35,000 here. I think last year they got 43,000, which I think's a good crowd. I think given a nice fine day today, and given the fact you've got 2 of the best supported clubs in the competition, 50,000 would have been something they would have targeted for. I do congratulate the NRL on what they did with regards to tickets. 2 adults, 4 kids, $50. I mean, that is good value, and we've been going on about that for years and years now. Well, they're actually doing something about it, and I think it's a great opportunity to get out and do something on Good Friday. And the fans have come out. As I said, the weather's played its part here, but game-wise, it should be a fantastic game. Bulldogs won 3 in a row. South beaten last week by the Eels, which is a bit of a surprise. I've tipped South, but I'm not confident. I really am not confident either way here. I think anything could happen. The Dogs to win, as we always say, they need their forwards to dominate. Whether they can or not, that's another question. All
right, let's head downstairs. Mark Riddell's down on the touchline. He's immune to these sort of conditions because it seems to me 9 times out of 10 when he's on the touchline, it is raining. Piggy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Easter to all our listeners. Yeah, boys, look, it wasn't too bad when I first came down here about 15 minutes ago, but it's certainly raining constant and steady now as we speak. I checked the radar only a few minutes ago, and I think we're going to see a fair bit of this throughout the game, or at least for the first hour anyway. It's going to obviously change the way both sides play. Lots of changes for the South Sydney side, especially from that grand final last season. I'm tipping the Dogs today in this one. Earlier in the week I thought South Sydney, but with this weather, I just think with the big pack and the big pack on the bench as well, the three big boppers the Bulldogs have got, I think they're going to be too strong for South Sydney this afternoon.
All right, just seeing some pictures from the dressing rooms. We're not too far away from seeing these two sides, the grand finalists from last year. Piggy, just looking around the ground, if the listeners are watching on at home via Channel 9 and listening to the continuous call team, the majority of supporters are sitting up high because obviously they don't want to get wet. But looking around from where you are, mate, is it predominantly blue and white, or can you see a few red and green supporters out there as well?
Yeah, well, look, guys, I know you can't see on your side above you, but that's all full above you guys, right along the length of the field. I think that the crowd itself is dominated by the Bulldogs, especially on the far side of the field, the eastern side. I can see the Burrow in that southeastern corner, but I think it's about a 60-40 to the Bulldogs at the moment.
All right, Piggy, we'll come back to you regularly throughout this game. Darryl, the return of Josh Reynolds, obviously he's making his return from the bench. Is it surprising to you to see Moses Mbai start the match, considering that Josh is coming back from a broken arm?
No, not at all. I was a bit surprised he came back this week because it's only been, 3 weeks or 4 weeks since he broke that arm. I think it was in the second game of I don't know who it was against, but anyway, it's been quite a short turnaround, and I think Moses Mbai's done a pretty good job for them. He kicked a winning field goal last week. I thought against Manly Warringah he was one of the better players on the field. His kicking game's been good. I think his defence has been good. And he's obviously a quality first-grade player. So, no, it doesn't surprise me. Look, he's a quality player. He's a State of Origin player, Josh Reynolds, and he's such an influence on this side. He just gives the side great energy, and you see it so many times. You know, when the Bulldogs have been a little bit or labouring a little bit to do something, you'll just see Josh Reynolds run out of the line and put a big hit on someone, or he just gives them energy, and he's such a vital part of their side. All right, there's no doubt he'll be in there.
Let's get your tips on this game. McDonald's new and permanent spicy jalapeno chicken burgers raise the bar in flavour. I'm with South Sydney. Big man?
I'm going for the Bunnies as well, but I do think if they win, it'll be 1-12.
All right, what about you, Mark Riddell on the touchline?
Oh, boys, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs in an upset here today.
What about you, Thirsty? Who are you tipping?
I'll stick with Souths, but it's honestly, it's a toss of the coin job. I think this will be down to the wire. It could be a Moses Mbai field goal that separates them again.
Let's hope so. It's a cracking afternoon. Good Friday football with the continuous call team. It's great to have your company on 2GB network stations right across Australia. And if you're just joining us, you wouldn't have heard our little preview with Luke Grant on 2GB earlier. We just had Timmermatic performing for all the crowd out here. But Big Man, we're told that he's changed his name.
Yeah, look, he's still he's very good at what he does. I don't understand why he's changed his name to Timmermargi. Did you work that out, David?
No.
I mean, we're old school, aren't we?
Well, I am. I'd never heard of Timmermatic, so Timmermargi.
It's like me changing my name to Big or something. It's just ludicrous.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, he can certainly sing, and he delivered a wonderful performance. Here come the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Boys, I'll hand over to you and rejoin you at half-time. Good luck to your two teams this afternoon. It's South Sydney and Canterbury from ANZ Stadium.
And out come the Rabbits, led out by none other than Greg Inglis and Isaac Luke, who of course didn't play in that grand final victory, although he had an enormous role to play in getting the team to the grand final. He'll have a little extra spring in his step today too, I reckon, Darryl.
Oh, no doubt about that. Look, you'd be so disappointed missing that game because he, as you said, he's such an influential member of their side. He's just a great player, isn't he, Isaac Luke? He's out there today. He'll be wanting to do his best to get them home. Look, I heard David Milton said last night there's been 9 changes. To the side that ran on the field in the grand final and their reserves, there's 9 changes. Well, might be 8 now because I noticed Jason Clark's back in the side. That's a remarkable turnaround in the space of about 6 months. It really is, but they still look pretty strong to me. I will say this. I'm not convinced their centres and wingers are as strong as they could be. They are lacking a little bit of depth there, are they? Exactly. Well, Darryl Millard's a good solid player. Bryson Goodwin, same, and Joel Reddy the same, but they're not in the same calibre as the blokes they've replaced from last year's grand final.
Well, Lavar and Walker were the centres in the grand final.
Absolutely. Lottie Takiru's the winger.
And the thing is, though, Glenn Stewart, though, and Isaac Luke didn't play in the grand final. You've got to say they strengthened the side coming in.
Yeah, well, no Sam Burgess. I mean, people can argue that whether Glenn Stewart's as good as Sam Burgess. I don't know. They're different players, but he does give them a touch of class in the back row, Glenn Burgess.
Now we're going to see Canterbury defending the northern end of the ground in the first half. We're going to see South Sydney kick off, and the referee, Gerard Sutton, just conferring with the floor manager, for want of a better term, Tony Chalmers.
More breaking news. I just got a text from my wife. Timmer Margie is his real name. Well, that makes it even stupider.
There's the kick-off from Inglis, and we're underway here on this Good Friday match and working it out. It's the Bulldogs working it back to their own 10-metre line, right in front of the goalpost. Tolman will play the ball about 20-odd metres in from touch. He plays it and quickly out of dummy half. Perrott, which he's very good at. He pinches an easy 12 metres. Gee, he does it. He does that job so efficiently that when he gets into dummy half, you could almost say to him, look, just go and play it 10 metres up the park, because you do it all the time. They're playing the ball in the centre of the park now. They'll go back to the left, and now we see the other winger, Curtis Roney, coming in to take a little bit of pressure off the forwards. An unusual start with the two wingers being very heavily involved in taking it up in the first set of a game. Here comes the workhorse, Graham, up to the halfway, and don't they come in quickly, the South Sydney defenders, to put him down on the eastern scrum line. The ball is played. Last play, away it goes, Hodkinson. He puts it high in the air. It's going to come down towards Johnson, and Johnson, the flying left winger, takes it. He looks up, goes for a gallop. He runs straight into Eastwood and two others, and he'll play it about 30 metres out from his own goalpost at the southern end of the field.
Well, that was just a set of 6 there from the Bulldogs. They didn't really offer too much, and I don't think they put too much pressure on the Bunnies' defence there. Alex Johnston, he's a great player. There's a bit of talk around this week that he's looking to play fullback in the future. Well, he's at the wrong club.
Well, he played fullback when he was a kid. I remember when I was first told about him. He was a fullback in their junior system, and he was actually, I think you'll find, game 1 last year, he played fullback in the under-20s. And we all know what he did from there. They've got the ball just over the halfway. Isaac Luke goes back to the right to Stewart. Stewart holds it up for Inglis. Inglis gets a pass on the outside to Millard. Millard, though, is taken comfortably, and he's tackled about 35 metres out from the goal line. Couple of metres in from touch. Last play, bad pass taken by Reynolds. Reynolds hoisted high in the air as he was flattened in a tackle after he put the kick in. Perrott takes it wonderfully well. He was running back, watching the flight of the ball, having to avoid running into the goalpost, and at all times kept his eye on the ball and took a difficult ball very well.
I think he's played brilliantly this year, Sam Perrott. I think every game he's played, he's been, I think, as good as I've seen him play. That was a tremendous bomb from Adam Reynolds. It was a real floating one. It was up in the air, and it could have gone anywhere. Took it brilliantly, Perrott.
Let's go down to the sideline. Mark Riddell. It looks as if it's raining, but some people have got umbrellas up, some haven't.
Oh, yeah, boys. This is probably the hardest it's rained this afternoon. I'm not sure you guys can pick it up there, but I certainly can down here. It's been a good start from the Bulldogs as we see them with a penalty. They can work the ball away off their own line.
And certainly what South didn't want. They had them hemmed in for a while, but now Jackson takes it ahead, and Canterbury, well, they're going to get the first opportunity to post points here, because they're going to be in a very strong position at the end of this set, and taking it up is Tolman. Tolman gets it to within 30 of South's line, almost in centre field. And at the moment on the low scoreboard, it's 0-0 between Canterbury and South as Graham gets it away to Mbai. Mbai throws a dummy, goes on his own. He gets it within 20 metres of the goal line. He's 20 in from touch. Eastern side of the field. Into dummy half is Leisha. They'll come back the open side to Eastwood. Eastwood runs straight at the defence, and he's got to within 10 metres. Clark is there, so was Stewart. Another defender in there as well was Reynolds. They're right on the attack here, Canterbury. They'll go back to the left. It goes to Mbai. Mbai gets it away to Big Williams. Williams, well, he was easily tackled there. One-on-one by a very small man. Millard, and wouldn't have bruised a fly there. Ball comes out the back. It goes to Hodkinson. Hodkinson puts it high in the air, and they're coming through to put pressure on Johnson. Johnson loses the ball, and I think at the second attempt he's grabbed it, but I think the referee's going to rule that he actually knocked it into a Canterbury player. The Canterbury player actually came up with it in the end, as it was Perrott who actually came up with the ball. And as a result, because Johnston knocked it into Perrott, they're going to rule knock on. Canterbury will get a set of 6 from 10 metres out.
Yeah, he was never comfortable under that, was he, Alex Johnson? You could tell he wasn't positioned well enough. It was a great bomb again from Trent Hodkinson. Put it in the air. He was being harassed by 2 or 3 Bunnies players, but he got the kick away. Johnston was harassed as well. Couldn't hold on to it. They got it right here. Went from Johnston into a Bulldogs player. Knock on. Here's a great opportunity for the Dogs.
Ball goes into the scrum, and it goes to Graham off the back of the scrum, and Mbai. He gets a long pass out wide along the ground. It's picked up by Curtis Rona. Rona for the corner. Rona scores. Rona's in. It's 4-0. Amazing. A horrible pass out the back door, but as so often happens, a bouncing ball stands the defence still, and the ball was picked up by Curtis Rona, and he just out-sprinted the cover of South to score the opening try. Low scoreboard. Canterbury 4, South 0.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. It was a planned move along the back line. It was straight from a scrum. Now, went out the back line, went to Moses Mbai. He tried to hit the centre. It was Morris screaming onto it. It missed Morris, but fortunately, Rona was far enough behind Morris to bend over, pick a bouncing ball up cleanly, and then just, well, I wouldn't say stroll over in the corner, but geez, it was poorly read by the outside backs there of the Bunnies. And you've got to say, Darryl Millard was the reason for that. He zeroed in on one of the players. He didn't get the ball, and when he zeroed in, Reddy had to go with him, and that just left open space for Rona on the outside. He had to pick it up. He had a bit of work to do, but he picked it up brilliantly and just burrowed his way over against the Bunnies of all clubs. Scored in the corner. Not a good start for the Bunnies here.
And Mark Riddell can't defend against a bouncing ball, can you?
No, it's certainly hard, isn't it? But it was a well-executed play. James Graham receiving the ball off the scrum base, playing out the back. Well, he had Tony Williams steaming next to him, did James Graham. And, yeah, as you said, the South Sydney side, they were just sucked in defence. Joel Reddy was then retreating back on his own goal line, and he just wasn't good enough to stop Curtis Rona. The Dogs, they've got off to a great start in the first 6 minutes.
Trent Hodkinson on the eastern touchline, 27 metres out. Opportunity to extend his lead to 6. 6 minutes gone here at the ANZ Stadium. There's the kick from Hodkinson. It's coming around, but not coming around sufficiently. It goes across the face of the uprights and on the low scoreboard. It is Canterbury 4, South Sydney 0.
Well, you've got to say there is a problem with their right side, the Bunnies. There's no doubt about that. I'd like to have a look at the stats, and I don't have them, but I reckon most of the points scored against them would be going down their right side. Joel Reddy's had problems all year with balls in the air, and now we've got Darryl Millard in the centres, who, by the way, is a former Bulldogs player, and he just, in my opinion, then he just wasn't up to the task at hand. He just read it poorly, and that put Reddy under extreme pressure. That's going to be where the Bulldogs are going to have a crack, I reckon.
And they immediately move the ball to the right. They shift it to Jackson, and Jackson, he tried to flirt with the sideline, and he's come off second best. They moved the ball to the right, and on a wet, greasy field, of course, the field narrows, and that was good defence from Goodwin, whose defence this year has been superb. He rounded Jackson up, he gave him a snip of the sideline, and went crash, bang, wallop, straight across the touchline, and Souths now will go on the attack from 22 metres out after the scrum goes down on the western side of the field.
Yeah, well, it probably wasn't a bad move there from Aidan Tolman. I think he took the ball from the kick-off. He ran at the South defence. They came into him, and then he saw that there was some open space on the outside to the back row. Jackson gave it to him, but given the conditions, he was always going to get bundled into touch. He probably needed to come in a little bit earlier there just to make sure he wasn't bundled into touch.
Ball comes out the scrum and it goes to Glenn Stewart. And Stewart, oh, I tell you what, there was a little set piece there. It was a dummy or a little shimmy sort of a movement where the ball was, I think all the Canterbury players for a moment thought it was going to finish up in the hands of Inglis. It finished up with George Burgess and he almost got through. They come back to the right side. And again, it's Glenn Stewart. And Glenn Stewart throws the dummy. He does a 360 pirouette and comes out of it, gets it back to Burgess. And George Burgess closes in on the goal line. He's only a metre or two away. Goes to Reynolds. On it goes to Tyrrell. Tyrrell runs into Williams. He's tackled. Couple of metres out. South on the attack now. Isaac Luke at dummy half. He goes back to the right to Reynolds. Reynolds puts a kick high in the air, but Curtis Rona is backing back and read it perfectly. Takes it on the full. And so Canterbury will get 7 tackles from their own 20-metre line.
Yeah, it was a waste of a back end of a set there, I reckon. That was a pretty average kick there from Adam Reynolds. He tried to get it over the top of Curtis Rona because he only outside he had Joel Reddy steaming through, but the kick wasn't good enough. Rona took it. He was under a bit of pressure, but he took it quite easily. He's developed into a pretty good player, Curtis Rona. He was let go by the Cowboys, I think. Made his way to the Dogs, and he hasn't put a foot wrong so far.
So Canterbury have got the ball as they make some ground down the left side, and Williams comes straight and hard. He brushes past Tyrrell, but he can't get past the next wave of defence. He's tackled just short of halfway. They'll come the open side. Eastwood takes it up for the Dogs. He's just inside South territory, almost in centre field. 48 metres out from the goal post at South end of the park. It's going to be played to Alicia. Alicia off now to Graham. A little second man play where it comes out the back door through the hands of Jackson. It goes to Laffey, and Laffey is going to play it around about 35, 38 metres out from the South line. 10 in from touch. Perrott gallops across field from dummy half. He's looking for a little hole. He runs away from one. Then he sends it away to Josh Morris playing out wide. Morris stopped. Oh, he can't get away. He drew the centre and the winger in, Millard and Reddy, but he just couldn't get the ball onto Rona. Otherwise, it would have been another try down that left side of the field. Out wide it comes to Hodkinson. He puts it up high in the air. Alex Johnson coming for the ball. Plenty of Canterbury players coming through, but they nearly all had their passages checked. as they were making, not illegally, all the South players really got to within a metre or so of Johnson and just stood there, which they were quite allowed to do, and Canterbury just couldn't get and put any pressure on Johnson, and now Souths run it out from their own end.
Yeah, well, I'm sure every club probably do a hell of a lot of time and spend a lot of time, I should say, defending the bomb like that, because there are always players getting in the way there. Johnson had no doubt he could take it. He took it beautifully. Now the ball's been stripped. Penalty here to the Bunnies. That's an easy way of getting out of your territory. I reckon this goes, most games do, is it come down to mistakes here. The Bulldogs have made precious few in this opening stanza, but we've seen the Bunnies make quite a few. Bulldogs in front, 4-0.
Yeah. Well, Tony Williams had a hand on the ball, Mark Riddell, and irrespective whether he roofed it out or not, you're going to get penalised every time you do that.
Yeah, you certainly are, and it was disappointing too, because I really thought the Dogs had some good control over South. Their first few plays, they really defended strongly, but they've let them off the hook. They've left the pressure off, and now the South Sydney side have got the ball attacking.
And here they go, and it goes to Keary, and back it comes to Burgess, George Burgess that is, and he's tackled 28 metres out from the Canterbury line. The low scoreboard, Canterbury 4, South Sydney 0, 29 to go in the first half. Keary comes to the left, he looks for a runner and take it up, and a good run from McQueen comes to an end on a great tackle from Eastwood. They go back to the right. Isaac Lute has it, he gets it away then to Reynolds. Reynolds throws a dummy, Prop stops and comes back in amongst the forwards. He's taken by the Blonde Brigade, and that's Graham and Tolman, 10 metres out on the goal line. They go back to the left side. It goes to Clark, and Clark, who started the game, keeps it alive back to Isaac Luke. Isaac Luke puts a little grubber kick in. This is a race for the ball. The ball beats them all over the dead ball line. And there was a South Sydney player who was impeded there, and I think, what are we going to get here? It's a penalty. It's going to be a penalty to Canterbury, because I reckon a South Sydney player has basically accused the referee. Oh, what?
No, he signified as the players kicked the ball away. That's what he's saying. He's given the Bulldogs a penalty on the 20-metre line here. I'd imagine the player chasing through there was the back rower, Chris McQueen. And I take it he must have kicked the ball away. It's a strange penalty for the 20-metre mark.
Yeah, but it was interesting because I thought McQueen might have said something to the referee. What about the player who was taken out? Yeah. And I thought for a moment the penalty might have been for unsavoury language, but when he got back there he realised that someone obviously kicked the ball away. But here comes Canterbury though, so that's a penalty each of them have had to get on the attack in the last few moments. At the moment it's Canterbury leading on the low scoreboard by 4 points to 0 as they get the ball back to within 32 of the goal line. Coleman will get up and play it. He's on that eastern scrum line, plays it to Leisha. It comes to Graham. Graham runs the line, throws a dummy. He's taken by Burgess. There's another defender in the form of Clark there. About 22 or 23 metres out now from the South line. Open side they come again to Eastwood. Out the back to Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson looks for a runner, changing the point of the attack with Jackson. He goes back to the left side of the field to Mbai. Mbai to Williams. Williams, I tell you what, he looked awkward, but he somehow got the ball onto Morris. And he looked as if he couldn't pass right to left at all there. And now they've got a penalty for not allowing Morris to get up and play the ball.
Went to that arm and held on.
They're under extreme pressure here, Bunnies. They're looking pretty average, let me tell you. For a side that only a fortnight ago looked almost unbeatable, there were people saying they might go through the season undefeated. Well, they're under extreme pressure here. They'll do very well to keep the Dogs out here.
And it comes to Eastwood, and Eastwood, as his customary fashion, just looks at that black dot and says, I'll see what I can get underneath it. He's not that far away. 10 metres out. They'll go back to the left again as Graham works it quickly to Hodgkinson, and Hodgkinson's taken in a great tackle. They're racing up out of the line. And it was Reynolds, I think, who got up there initially. He's getting some trouble. In fact, it was Millard who got up there. And the ball is played to Tolman, and Tolman's tackled about 4 metres out on the goalpost. Great opportunity for Canterbury to extend the lead here. Leisha gets it away to Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson then goes to Brett Morris. Brett Morris tries to get on the outside and put a little pass away to Lafay. He can't. There's 3 South Sydney players around him. He'll play it 8 metres out on the goal line. 10 in from touch. Perrott at dummy half back to Jackson in turn to Eastwood. Eastwood gets around one defender, Clark, who stormed out of the line. But then 2 more South defenders come and help him. They tackle 8 metres out on the goalpost. Last play, they come back to the right. Quick hands to Jackson. Jackson will get the pass away to Perrott. Perrott picks it up on the bounce and evades 2 defenders and scores. Low scoreboard, Canterbury 8, South 0. The referee and the touch judge conferring about something.
Bernie, got up last. Try. Want to ensure there's no obstruction, mate.
Didn't look at instruction there. The ball bounced again, Darryl, and he just picked it up and evaded defenders to score, didn't he?
Yeah, there's players slipping and sliding everywhere there. They had an overlap. There was certainly some second-man play there, but I didn't see any obstruction. But let's have a closer look at this. They go the blind side here. It goes to Hodgkinson. There was a man who runs through That pass was fine. It was just a poor read from the centre there. I think it was Bryson Goodwin. A really poor read. That made sure that the winger had to come in to try and get his man. Then Sam Perrott picked it up again. It was just a bouncing ball to a winger. It was picked up on the outside brilliantly by Perrott. As I said before, he's in great form. I think he wrong-footed. Greg Inglis was the player he wrong-footed. That's a try. They've started brilliantly, the Dogs.
And the Coach Hire video referees Bernard Sutton and Luke Phillips say it's a try. And it's hard to believe, but Mark Riddell, both tries from bouncing balls.
Yeah, exactly right. Look at Sam Perrott. He still had plenty of work to do. He just showed tremendous footwork. Step back inside, and there's one thing you want your wingers to do, and that's finish the plays and score tries and get that ball down. And he did so well in finishing that one, Sammy Perrott. But the Dogs, I think this is the best I've seen them start this year. They just look tremendous with the ball. They're defending strongly. It's a great start for the Bulldogs.
And now Hodgkinson will have a shot at goal from this touchline. His first shot was from the eastern touchline. This one's from the western touchline.
Taking it back a long way. He's got it back about 28 or 26.
The first one was back that far, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, he's obviously distance isn't the issue, but they look, you know what, they look more enthusiastic, don't they? And how often do you see it with a really good side? They lose a game and then they go into a bit of a hollow bit of form. And this is what worried me about the Bunnies here today. Look, they can still get out of trouble. There's no doubt about that. But they're going to be relying on Inglis big time. Inglis has got to produce a massive game here, I think, for the Bunnies to get out of this already.
So Hodgkinson from wide out. Opportunity to give them a 10-point buffer midway through the first half. Here's Hodgkinson. There's the kick. Off the boot. It looks pretty good. It looks very good. He nails the goal. And the low scoreboard reads Canterbury 10, South Sydney 0. 24 and a half to go in the first stanza. Well, you remember last year, South actually lost their first 3 games. And we had big question marks about where they'd go. So once they found form, they went well. But, gee, you're right. They're out enthused out there at the moment.
Well, it becomes winning becomes a habit, and sometimes losing does as well. Look at the Sharks, for example. But I'm not saying they're going to lose the game, but the early signs here are not good for the Bunnies. They're going to need, as I said, they're going to need their really good players to stand up here. Otherwise, they're going to get beaten.
Well, they've been down there a couple of times, and it's been poor finishing at the end of the sets. They're not as clinical as they have been in recent years, certainly so far in this game. But it'll come. It'll just depend on how many opportunities they have. But once you squander a couple, that's opportunities that don't come back. Here's Jackson working it back for the Canterbury side as he works it back to the 30. He's going to play the ball on the western scrum line. They come down the short side again, and Leisha, thinking that perhaps there was a little gap there behind the markers. He gained another few metres. Ball played to Tolman. On it goes then to the other prop forward, Graham. Graham's up to the halfway line. Last tackle coming up for the Doggies as Leisha will go, where's Hodgkinson? Out to the right and behind him. And Hodgkinson gets a kick in despite the attention of Stewart. Goes straight down the throat of Johnson, who read the kick well. Johnson runs back to the centre of the park. Now tries to link up with the right side of the field. I'll tell you what, he almost did. But the speed of Josh Morris meant that Josh could get there and tie him up. If he'd got on the outside of Morris, it might have been shut the gate because they developed a nice overlap. But Morris's speed got him out of trouble there.
Well, it normally does, doesn't it? A class player, both the Morris boys. We all know how fast they are and how good they are. He got the monkey off his back last week, Josh, with a try. You saw it in his post-try celebration when he took the monkey off and kicked it away. Who's to say he won't score again here today? He's in good form.
Ball now comes out to the left side of the field. Burgess takes it up. This is George Burgess is out there. He's going to play the ball 2 or 3 metres inside South's territory. Luke goes back to the right to Reynolds. Reynolds puts up a high bomb. No pressure at all here on Brett Morris, who gets underneath it, takes it comfortably, and then sprints back to the 20. In fact, the first time any South Sydney player was even loitering near that ball after the kick went up was 20 metres downfield.
Well, Thirsty, that was an awful kick. That was just that was a nothing kick. There was no pressure, as you said, on Brett Morris at all. He just took it probably 6 or 7 metres out from his try line. Nearest Bunnies defender was probably 15 metres away from him. That kick, to me, just smacks of them being lacking confidence. Again, they're going down the blind side here with Josh Jackson.
Now they're going to play the ball about 32 metres out from South's line. 10 in from touch. It's played to Leisha. Leisha to Tolman and turned to Graham. Graham straightens up. I'll tell you what, he almost got through a hole that opened up there for a moment. Good tackle from the props, Burgess and Tyrrell. Back to the left it goes to Mbai. Mbai gets it out the back. The Morris twins are alongside each other. Brett goes straight through. He's got a pathway and the ball is flicked along the ground, and I think you'll find it's been cleaned up here by the Keary. And Keary, it's going to be a knock-on. It's a forward pass, in fact. The last pass But they tried to keep it alive. But, gee, when Brett Morris got through, that almost was try time.
Well, that had try written all over it there. It was a way through there. I thought Greg Eastwood was going to score himself. I'm trying to watch a video replay of who tackled Greg Eastwood, because let me tell you, it saved a try, because it was a great tackle. Eastwood tried to flick the ball out the back. It went forward. Geez, they breathed a sigh of relief there, the Bunnies. But let me tell you, that should have scored there. That was a great break from the fullback, Brett Morris.
The two of them together, and that's lethal when the Morris twins are alongside each other.
Dynamite, aren't they? It's great to see them back together, isn't it? I know you're a Dragons man.
Oh, it's just great to see them together.
It's great to see them back playing together.
I hate to see brothers split up when they've played so much football together, and I think that's what's so sad about Glenn and Brett Stewart. Yeah. Now here's South Sydney working the ball back to within 10 of the halfway line. Ball fed to Inglis. Inglis gets it away. A kick downfield from Reynolds, and Reynolds is kicking. I think he was looking for a 40-20, but he was outside the 40 anyway. The ball did go behind Perrott. Perrott cleans it up. He'll play it 25 out from his own goal post. So they're back to where they were not long ago, Canterbury, without much pressure on them, and they'll get themselves into position again.
Well, the kick wasn't good enough there from Adam Reynolds to find the 40-20. But, mate, that just shows their mindset. He was outside the 40 when he kicked it. He was trying for a 40-20, but he stuffed it up, basically, because it was never going to be a 40-20. They're running roughshod over him.
Great run here from Leisha. He gets it away to Eastwood. Eastwood comes screaming down the centre. Good tackle there, and it had to be made by Inglis. And they're going to play the ball 18 metres out as Canterbury go back on the attack, and they'll go back to the left. The ball is fed now to Graham. In turn, it goes to Mbai. Quick hands out wide. There's an attempt at intercept. The ball's gone to ground. It's picked up by Curtis Rona. And would you believe Canterbury have got another set of 6? It'll be 18-0 or 16-0 here in a minute, the way things are going, because they've got a set of 6 right on the line. From the dummy half, Tolman. He won't get there. He's held up right on the goal line by Reynolds, Stewart and Luke. Ball played to Leisha. Away it goes to Graham. Graham has a crack on his own. They've got plenty of tackles up their sleeves here, the Canterbury side. Leisha will come the open side. He gets it to Hodkinson. A second man play goes to Brett Morris. Quick hands, it comes to Perrott. Perrott for the line. Dude's cover defence gets there, and they managed to close him down. Good work there from Goodwin. They'll come the open side again as it goes to Hodkinson. The centre of the park, it's fed to Tolman. Tolman takes it ahead. He's tackled 10 metres out on the goalpost. Still 2 tackles left in this set. Ball fed to Leisha. Leisha across field. He gets to Jackson. Jackson goes from the right side back to the left side. He's tackled right underneath the goalpost. Last play coming up. Leisha goes back to the left. A long cutout pass. Mbai for Curtis Rona, and Curtis Rona knocks it on. He was looking at the try line and not the ball, and South Sydney are off the hook, and they'll play the ball 10 out on their own goal line.
Oh, they're off the hook big time there. That was a poor pass from Moses Mbai. He should have used hands. Had an overlap there. As we see a South player drop it here. Joel Reddy's very lucky here. He got up to play it. The ball slipped out. Josh Morris is pleading his case now to the referee, but he's got a penalty here, the Bunnies, and he's made a massive kick here from Reynolds. They've made 45 metres. They were lucky to get away with that, the Bunnies.
Gee, Mark Riddell, South Sydney, bit of luck in the way they finished that set. Great kick from Reynolds.
Yeah, they were very, very lucky there with Joel Reddy. I thought he just dropped the ball, but Adam Reynolds, very smart. He was a great touch finder, and as we see, Tim Grant on the field now and Thomas Burgess. They need some enthusiasm, the Bunnies.
They come to the left side and Keary takes it up, and Keary tries to go straight through. He did for a moment too. He was taken in the end, and a good tackle by Graham and Brett Morris. He's only 18 metres out, plays it to Luke. On it goes now through the hands. It goes to Clark, to Reynolds. Reynolds puts a little grubbing kick in. It's loose on the ground, and in the end, it's been gathered up by Canterbury, and the South Sydney defence have taken him back. In fact, I'm just trying to see who it was that actually gathered it up. It wasn't Brett Morris back there. The Canterbury player was actually tackled half a metre in the field of play and then tackled a second time into the in-goal area.
I think it was Mbai.
It might be Moses Mbai is back there. As he is. Well, he's tackled just in the field of play and then pushed back. And then once you do that, second tackle, that's illegal. Penalty to Canterbury.
One of the Burgess boys it was who came in over the top, tried to push him in the in-goal area. Now they're having their first tackle on the 30-metre mark. I mean, it's a massive blue.
It's just... They're not playing like a cohesive unit at the moment, are they?
Well, they're not playing smart, though, but they're just making too many stupid errors. And as I said before, a fortnight ago, you wouldn't have... Here's another penalty.
Clark. Clemmer has just come on. He goes for a run. He's tackled, and Clark basically walks over the top of him, and spread his legs over the top. Can't go back onside doing that. It's one thing. You've got to move yourself to the side and go back. You can't basically you buy time to play the ball down. The referee will ping you every time.
Well, he's ringing the changes, which I think he deserved to do. Grevschmuel's out there now, so there's plenty of forwards getting a run here because I don't think he's happy. We can't be happy with their performance so far.
Well, here's Canterbury, and they've got another opportunity here as they come the short side. Hodkinson, and there's a bad pass, but somehow Perrett's cleaned it up, and he's going to be tackled eventually. He was missed the first time, but he's tackled 18 metres out on the goal line. 12 in from touches. Leisha gets it away to Cassiano, who's out there, and the big man takes it ahead. This is the Canterbury big man of current day.
It's okay, I love him.
And there's almost a little knock on there at dummy half from Leisha. A shocking pass along the ground. Who's going to pick it up? South Sydney. Well, they've caught South Sydney's disease there, Canterbury. That was a poor error. There was 2 poor passes as they tried to shift that ball to the left. And the second one, don't forget, both the tries they've scored have come off passes that have gone to the ground and been picked up by the wingers.
Yeah, Desi would be devastated with what he's seen the last 5 or 10 minutes from the Dogs because they've had great opportunities to get right, put a nail into the coffin of the Bunnies, but they haven't been able to do it. They haven't been good enough. They've made enough mistakes themselves, but it hasn't been that costly for them. But I don't know if the last few mistakes, might come back and bite them on the bum because they should have been in front by more than 10-0.
And now Reynolds, I think, has had another crack at a 40-20 here. It won't find touch. But again, I have doubts as to whether he is behind the 40-metre line. His plant foot actually landed, I think you'll find, just outside the line. And as a result, it would have found touch, but Canterbury would have got the scrum feed. Ball comes to Rona. Just getting his timing wrong at the moment. Still, Canterbury deep inside their own territory. And those couple of mistakes Canterbury have made the last couple of times have been down there. They might rue that, because one thing South Sydney's good at is hanging in games, and when they get opportunities, certainly when they find some form, and they will at some stage in this game, they actually nail you to the wall as Clemmer brings it up. And Josh Morris getting to his feet slowly out there, or is it Brett? No, it's Brett who's getting up slowly. Ball's played to Leisha. Away it goes to Cassiano. Cassiano goes to good run from Cassiano. He's still going. He's tackled just short of the halfway line. Gee, that was a solid run. Brett Morris, in fact, I think he's doing up his shoe. I thought he was hurt for a moment. Ball goes to Hodkinson. Hodkinson kicks downfield. A ball that goes on the ground, and Inglis traps it with the boot and then gathers it up. Hasn't had much try. I've hardly seen him with the ball. I think that's about the furthest I've seen him run with the ball so far tonight. He hasn't been anywhere near those kicks, and they've deliberately kept away from him, of course. Goodwin brings it back within 15 of the halfway.
If you're going to beat the Bunnies, that's the way you've got to play it. You've got to try and keep him out of the game. And at the moment, he's not injecting himself as much as I think Bunny supporters would like to see him do it. They're going through I don't think the Bulldogs are going through a great patch at the moment. The Bunnies really need to take advantage of some of the Bulldogs' slackness here.
As Grant takes it ahead, he's got to within 40 metres of the goal line. Quickly the ball comes away to Carey, and quick hands. It went from Inglis to Goodwin, and Goodwin's taken straight away. 6 more. We've heard.
This will be tackle 1.
No, there we are. Canterbury have got the ball. I heard him say 6 more. Goodwin was dispossessed, but the ball did come backwards towards the Canterbury player. It was a one-on-one strip. There's only one man in the tackle on Goodwin. And again, bad ball security means that Canterbury have come up with it, and they've got it 5 short of the halfway. It's become a bit sloppy this match the last 10 minutes or so, I must admit. Rona goes for a gallop out of dummy half, and he's tackled on the halfway line. Solid tackle, in fact, so solid he's lost the ball.
Double knock on is really
Double knock on.
Well, this is a vital part of the game. We've got 13 and a half minutes to go. It's 10-0 to the Bulldogs. Now they've got an opportunity here, the Bunnies. They've had plenty of them, but they seriously haven't really threatened, have they? They haven't threatened the line. Their kicking game's been poor. They look tired. I wouldn't say they look disinterested, but they look tired. They need to find some energy from somewhere.
There's a great tackle from Glenn Stewart there. He just hit the arm of the Canterbury player, and that's what caused the ball to spill out.
He's made a couple of telling tackles. In that last set of 6, he made 2 very good tackles in that last set of 6. One-on-one, he's very hard to... you just can't get the ball away one-on-one with Glenn Stewart.
They're having a conference out there, the forwards and the referee. It's taken more than 60 seconds to pack this scrum. And the players were there, so I'm not quite sure what they were looking at. Griesmill takes the head. And he's tackled about 32 metres out from Canterbury's line. 12 and a half left to go in the first half, and the low scoreboard has Canterbury leading 10 points to 0. Quickly the ball comes to Millard. Good tackle. Curtis Rona came in up the wing and made sure that Millard couldn't advance the football to Reddy up that right side. Now what can they do? The ball is taken ahead in the centre of the park as the Bunnies get the ball to within 18 metres of the goal line. Grant plays it. Now it goes away to Stewart, and Stewart gets it away to Keary. And Keary, he's got a pass away to McQueen, and McQueen knocks it on. And coming up with the ball is Brett Morris for Canterbury.
Well, it's just a continuation of what we've seen all first half. I'd love to see what their completion rates are at half-time. I'd suggest it's probably about 60% at best. They've been their own worst enemies here, the Bunnies. Add to that the fact that they're, beaten last week, maybe down a little bit in confidence, and it's not a good formula for success.
Is the rain having an effect on the way they're playing at the moment, Mark Riddell, or is it just lack of concentration from both teams?
No, look, I think it's just both sides with the conditions. There's some errors and fatigue as it starts to wind down for this first half as we see a nice play from the Bulldogs. I just think South Sydney have been unable to build any pressure on this Bulldogs side, and that's culminated with the poor kicking game at the line from Adam Reynolds.
Now, grubber kick from Hodkinson as it looked, shadowing it along the touchline with Greg Inglis, and he looked at it and said, I'll let that run into touch, and all the forwards said, thank you, Greg. We can all have a real big breather as we walk to this scrum, which will go down about 10 out from South line, and obviously on the scrum line, 20 in from touch on this western side of the field.
Yeah, he didn't show a great deal of interest in attacking the ball then, Greg Inglis, did he? I think he was happy for it to go into touch. It was a pretty good kick from Trent Hodkinson there. So Josh Reynolds on the paddock now, I notice. I'm not sure who's come off for Josh Reynolds. Might be the hooker, Michael Leach, or maybe they've thrown Mbai back into hooker when he played there, I think, in grand final last year, Moses Mbai. So I think he's probably better off telling us that, but I can see Reynolds out there.
See Reynolds there.
He's definitely on the field.
Now, they've got the ball here, South Sydney.
Well, they're offside. Oh, that's a penalty. Yeah, good. Someone's told him they were offside. There's a bit of push and shove here between Graham and Inglis, the two captains, I think.
And Isaac Luke was just in there. He was just advising them not to have a fight, that's all. He wasn't.
Can we come and have a look at a new car? Got a new car, you know.
You have?
No, he has.
Oh.
Said that last week when he was having the blue with the little halfback.
Let's see what they can do now. The slapping duel.
Yes.
Up over the halfway. Well, this is South's opportunity, surely. 10 to go in the first half. Low scoreboard. Bulldogs 10, Rabbitohs 0 as they take it ahead through McQueen. And McQueen is tackled. 32 metres out from the goalpost. It comes to Luke, and they go up the centre of the park. And Luke waits and then passes to Reynolds. In turn, it goes to Inglis and goes to Millard. Millard knocks the ball on and picking it up as Reynolds. And Reynolds dashes downfield for Canterbury. He's up over the halfway. He's still going, Reynolds. He's still going. I don't know how many players he beat. He beat about 4 or 5 of them twice, and now he's going to play it 42 metres out. But that pass then to Millard and the dropping of it probably is an example of exactly what South Sydney has done very poorly throughout this entire first half.
Well, it's just another added to a long list of, no completions. I mean, that was just pitiful. He was under pressure there, Millard, but if you're going to play first grade, you've got to take those balls. He didn't take it. He was in the process of, I think what he was trying to do was just offload the ball on the outside to Joel Reddy, with the winger coming in to put him under pressure, Curtis Rona, but he just lost control of it, and it's just another incomplete set for the Bunnies. I mean, I'm sure the coach will be saying to them at half-time, and I'm sure if he would have said it already, complete your sets. They're not doing that.
Tim Laffey down hurt at the moment, Mark Riddell, not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything dangerous in the tackle. I think he just got twisted. I think Chris McQueen had him wrapped up top. I think he's got some problems with his back. As we see the vision there.
Well, Peggy, the trainer said he's gone. He said, he's called, said he's no good. So I know he missed last week's game. I'm not sure what problem he had last week there, Tim Laffey, but he might be his knee.
Yeah, there's a bit of a knee twist under there, isn't there? His left knee, but...
Well, he was in agony when he was rolling around on the ground. He wasn't. Well, this will be interesting to see what they do. Mbai go to the centres. And Reynolds just stay at 5'8".
Well, you think that would probably be the case, or Reynolds or Jackson, one of the two.
Jackson to the centres and Mbai just stay at hooker for the time being.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, guys, Leash is coming straight back on. He's got the card. I'm thinking that Mbai will go to the centres.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those two options. With Leisha coming back on.
You didn't get much of a break, Leisha, did he? Been saying that. I mean, he's
only
a hooker.
Kid.
He wants to be out there playing, mate. Don't want to play 80 minutes. It's like, remember when Johnny Lang had the Bunnies and, Isaac Luke was playing 40 minutes a game? With all due respect to Johnny Lang, he's a fantastic bloke and a great coach. It was ridiculous.
Well, here's poor Tim Laffey being helped from the field, and it's the knee, actually, that buckled under him. Well, he's certainly limping off, and... I think by the looks of that, he won't be taking any further part. And sadly, when you see something like that, you think that he mightn't be taking much part for coming weeks. But
he's a real talented player, Tim Lapp. He's been very good for the Dogs the last 12 months.
Here I go.
Now we're going to see David Morris and Gerard Sutton just having a little yarn there. And Josh Jackson's going to play the ball. So we start again. Klemmer takes it up for Canterbury, and he's going to be tackled about 30 metres out, 28 metres out in the end, right in the centre of the park. 9 minutes to go in the first half. The low scoreboard. Canterbury leads by 10 points to 0 over Souths as Graham takes it to within 20 metres of the goalpost, almost in centre field. Leisha back out there, gets the ball away to Cassiano. Cassiano short ball to Reynolds. Reynolds throws a dummy, tries to go through. Good tackle, and it was made by the other Reynolds. Of course, the two Reynolds on opposite sides, Adam for Souths and Josh for Canterbury. Open side they come, ball fed to Williams. Williams gets a pass to Cassiano. Cassiano! He's showing Tony Williams what to do. Great run as he takes the ball to within a metre of the goal line. Last tackle coming up. They come back to this side. Hodkinson away to Jackson. Jackson finds a hole. Can he get through? No, Inglis is there. I think Grant was the other one who came in at the last moment, and they've held Jackson up about 2 blades of grass short of scoring what would have been Canterbury's third try.
Great tackle from Inglis then. One-on-one, really it was. You're right. Tim Grant came in to help him a bit, but I don't think Inglis needed the help there. Just a one-on-one hit. You know where they're upsetting the defence of the Bunnies is they're cross-field running. They're changing direction around the back of the ruck, and it is really putting the South Sydney defence under extreme pressure. They've handled this first half really well. We've still got nearly 8 minutes to go in the first half. Plenty of time for points. 10-0. The Dogs lead the Rabbitohs.
And Inglis takes it up for the Rabbits, and I'll go to the right side. And Isaac Lurkey hasn't had too many opportunities to run, but when he does, he normally pinches metres, and he does this time. 12 short of the halfway. It comes to Reynolds. Reynolds has a go at a 40-20, but Perrott was on his motorbike very early, and he got back to within 10 metres of his own goal line. Took it on the full. There was no chance of that getting to the touchline, but it was a good attempt from Reynolds. It was a good long kick, but Perrott read what was happening, and it was probably pretty well read when you think about it. The ball went to Reynolds, and Reynolds did take some time to actually measure where he was going to kick it. And as a result, Perrott probably was entitled to do what he did, but he still did it very efficiently.
Yeah, he did do it very well, didn't he? And the kick was okay from Reynolds. That's a better kick, but, I think he'd be very disappointed with his kicking game in the first half here. Now the Dogs again, they're up to halfway on about the second tackle. Now they're putting them under extreme pressure. They've got to be getting very tired, the Bunnies.
Ball's played by Klemmer on the halfway line as it goes to Graham, and Graham out the back door. A long cut-out pass. It comes to Perrott on the wing. Perrott screaming down the right wing. He's taken from behind. A good tackle, and it was made by Goodwin. 20 metres out on the goal line. Leisha back the open side to Hodkinson. Last play, fed to Reynolds. Reynolds runs the line. He puts a kick over the top. It should be taken by Reddy, and is. Reddy diving forward, sliding on the greasy ground, tackle, and actually got a hand on him. Wasn't really a tackle from Josh Morris, but it was enough to effectively have him held. And now Inglis brings it up, and not very often you see Greg Inglis collared and driven back in a tackle, but he was there.
Klemmer and Cassiano. Cassiano's had a profound effect on this game. I know since he's been on, I don't know if the Dogs have scored, but geez, he's been good up the middle of the ruck.
He's done some good stuff, hasn't he? Here they come, the left side, Keary. Gets it away then to Johnson. Johnson sprinting up to the halfway. He's got Brett Morris to beat. He chips over the top. Jackson and Morris versus Johnson. Morris gets back. Brett Morris does wonderfully well. Only eyes for the ball. Johnson, I think, was partially winning the race to get there, but Morris, a big diving lunge at the ball, collected the possession and denied Johnson the opportunity to perhaps score a try before half-time.
Well, we all know how fast Alex Johnston is there, and for all intents and purposes, you would have thought he would have been the first to the ball, because he kicked it. He was running in a straight line. Morris had to stop, turn and chase, beat him to it. I mean, just scintillating pace from Brett Morris. I've got to say, I heard Laurie Daly say during the week that he's not under consideration for the fullback spot. I don't know if I think he should seriously consider him. I think he's that good a player.
Ball comes away to the right to Hodkinson, and Hodkinson puts a grubbing kick in that sits up beautifully for Inglis, and Inglis, for one of the few times in the game, has got a chance to run, but what a great tackle from Jackson. Old style tackle, started up round the thighs, brought the legs down. It was just the old traditional way, the way you were taught to tackle.
Yeah, I was taught it, but I didn't implement it very well.
But that was a great tackle. He's not too well at the moment, Inglis. That right knee that he's had bandaged all year, getting some attention. I'll play the ball just inside Canterbury's territory as Luke comes back to this side, the left side of the field, and Griesmuir takes it up. I tell you, that was almost a tackle. Hodkinson pulled out at the last moment. He was about to lift the legs and realise the consequences. A chip and chase for Keary. Racing back, Brett Morris. He's had to do a lot of work again, but he picks up the loose ball. He'll play it 5 metres out from his own goal line and 5 in from this western touchline. Inglis still getting some attention from the trainer. And Mark Riddell, that doesn't look too well at the moment.
No, it's the right knee that he's already got strapping on. He wasn't giving good indications to the trainer at all. It's happening right in front of me as we speak. He doesn't look good at all. Looks very ginger on that right knee.
As Canterbury bring the ball back, and that kick from Carey, I know that Morris was entitled to get there first, but because he was so tired from the chase a moment ago, and he's had a lot of running to do in this first half, he almost didn't get there first. Another great run from a Canterbury forward. This time it's Clemmer up to the halfway. Cassiano pushed out of the road by Hodkinson. Hodkinson wanted the ball, wanted to kick it. It's a grubbing type kick. The ball just runs along the ground, and Reddy waits for a good opportunity to make sure he can gather it up without knocking it on, and he brings it back, and then at the last moment he got a pass away to Inglis. This will see how good his knee is. He's tackled 30 out from his own goal line.
I was just thinking about the Reddy brothers. They haven't had a great 24 hours, have they? I think his brother plays goalkeeper for Central Coast. They got beat 6-1 last night. And Joel's playing on the outside there, and they're under extreme pressure on his side of the paddock.
And Inglis again receiving some attention. He's not well at all. 3 minutes to go in the first half. The low scoreboard, Bulldogs 10, Rabbitohs 0. Don't forget, we'll be back to Mark Levy for the Tyre Power half-time break coming up very shortly. Quick hands to Goodwin. I tell you what, he almost got on the outside of his man and would have just opened up a little opportunity for Johnson to score before half-time. They're 10 metres inside Canterbury's territory. The ball is played to Keary. Away it goes to Luke. In turn to Reynolds. Reynolds runs across field, throws a dummy, throws another dummy. He'll get it on to Glenn Stewart. Glenn Stewart straightens up and goes straight through the middle. Glenn Stewart's got a chance here. Oh, he got it on to Thomas Burgess. And would you believe, Big Thomas knocks it on as cold as you like with the line wide open. In fact, it's George is back out there.
Yeah, it was George. There's a bit of concern here for one of the Bulldogs players here. He's come in and made this tackle. I mean, George Burgess scored one of the great grand final tries at this venue about 6 or 7 months ago. It was an amazing try. On this occasion, he's copped the ball. Well, it was going to go on his chest. He just snapped at it, knocked it down, and ran over the top. It might be one of the Morris boys. I'm not sure who it is. Yeah, it is. I think it's the fullback.
It's Brett.
And Brett Morris, with Burgess, has gone into him, and he stayed down, Brett Morris.
It's the one thing about the Burgess twins that you can guarantee that they'll each drop the ball once per game. And that one was probably not that difficult to take. What about Glenn Stewart?
He's played well in a side that's getting, well, I wouldn't say towed up on the scoreboard, but they're not playing well. He's been great for them today. I think defensively he's been good. With the ball in hand, he's great. That should have been a try there. Yeah.
I wish they'd just they should put a little signal up. I'm sending the other Burgess twin out so you actually know they're both out at the one time.
Yeah, I'm outraged by it. I want them to wear different coloured boots. Let's have a look. I can't see if they both got white boots on. That's stupid.
Well, they got us one time. Here's an opportunity for South. A knock on by Cassiano as he ran the ball up. I'll tell you what, the man that came in giving everyone high fives and let's get on with this was none other than George Burgess. Said, come on, let's make up for the error a moment ago. And that's probably the most enthusiastic thing I've seen in a South Sydney jumper today, with the exception of Glenn Stewart.
Yeah, he's been good. I just heard Adam Reynolds and Greg Inglis having a bit of a discussion here. Inglis has been out of the play for the last 5 minutes, having his knee strapped and just flexing it, etc., etc.
Now, Reynolds more strapping on than a horse at Menangle Park.
Well, mate, he has. But you know what he's like. I mean, you throw him the ball, he waddles around, he limps, and then he gets the ball and he goes bang. You know he's going to do it.
Here they go. Millard off the back of the scrum. Well, they've got a chance here. And he's going to play it about 15 metres out. I'll tell you that story about the Burgess twins shortly as the ball comes away now. And here he tried to make up for his error a moment ago. George Burgess goes straight and hard. He's tackled only 3 or 4 metres out on the goal line. Into dummy half comes Isaac Luke. He goes back to the right and decides to throw a dummy. Goes on his own. And I think he's got underneath them all and scored. The referee what's the referee saying here? Isaac Luke threw a big dummy to Glenn Stewart.
Big concerns about contact here.
Now, what have we got here?
He's concerned about the hit on Isaac Luke.
We're on tackle 3. Take him away, Greg. Got big concerns about the contact on Isaac Luke. Have no try, but I want to look at contact.
He's got blood pouring out of his mouth, or out of his ear.
His ear, I think. I'd like to see the head on to this. To me, it looks like he's dropped the ball. But the referee, to my way of thinking, might be saying he's been hit around the head here. This could be
a penalty try.
Could well be a penalty try. Let's have a look at it. There's definitely a cut near his ear.
The coach hire video referees Bernard Sutton and Luke Phillips looking here to see what happens. Well, I'm not sure he got an accidental shoulder, I think, from Josh Morris, and I don't think has Cassiano done anything wrong there. I think he's tripped over and just I think it's an accidental knock, isn't it?
Well, there's a knee. I think there's a knee coming in here from Cassiano.
What do you think, Mark? Do you think it's a...
No, I think it's the knees from Cassiano. We see Cassiano sliding in, contact there, the right knee in the back of the head.
You're not allowed to lead with the knees, are you? This has got huge chance of penalty try because you're just not allowed to lead, even though I think it's totally accidental. I don't think he's coming deliberately with the knees. Yeah. It's just he's a big man and he's coming to try and stop the try. But if you lead with the knees, gee, they take a dim view of it. But that's what caused this.
He's led with the knees.
Yeah. I know
he's trying to save a try, so he's led with the knees.
Yeah, well...
You know what, I think he's actually got the ball down here. Now, whether he's over the line, I think's the question mark here.
I think he's on the line.
I think that's a try.
I think it's a try as well. And I reckon this might be an 8-pointer.
I think you're right.
That'll save them having to give penalty try. They'll give a try here, I think. I'm not... Anyway, the Coates Hire video referees, keep your job on time and on budget. Coates Hire 131-552. Isaac Luke going up the tunnel. So he's obviously in the concussion bin.
Gav.
Now, listen.
If you can walk... Greg, come with us. Greg, what is it in play?
It's a try to Isaac Luke. Well, we've got that from the Coates Hire video referees. Now we're going to work out whether it's going to be a penalty against Cassiano. Here's Graham called out.
Josh
Morris called out.
Can I ask you a question before you even start? Look at the speed we're playing this game at. How's he supposed to pull out of that? He can't pull out.
What he can't do is...
I know going with his knees, but I don't think he did, sir. Look how quick the game is, mate.
James.
He's not going like that.
All right, mate, you've had your opinion. Now we'll listen to what's going to happen. The foot contacts him in the head. It's on report, and it'll be a possible 8-point try. Absolutely.
But he scored it without me being obstructed.
So it's not Cassiano, he's got Josh Morris.
I don't think... You know what? I think James Graham's absolutely right what he said.
Massive call to say
and we've made it.
Massive call.
It's a try to Isaac Luke, and as you heard the referee Gerard Sutton explain to James Graham, we'll have a shot at conversion goal, and that will be followed by a penalty in front of the sticks 10 metres out. Huge call.
Well, I don't know why Josh Morris is on report. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I mean, surely Cassiano was the player who's come in with the knees, and unintentional, but you can't do it. I mean, Cassiano, for mine, should be the bloke. If they're going to put someone on report, surely it's because of what Cassiano did. Surely.
Well, I'm like you. I don't think Josh Morris... I'm like James Graham. I don't think Josh Morris could do anything about his part in that tackle at all.
Well, he made a really good point. The speed of the game, what are you supposed to do? He's absolutely right, James Graham.
Here's Reynolds, Adam Reynolds, 19 metres out, 19 metres in from touch, an attempt to convert the Isaac Luke try, and he does so. And so the low scoreboard with less than a minute to go in the first half. Canterbury 10, South Sydney 6, and now a penalty to South Sydney, 10 metres out, right in front of the 6. James Graham is still blowing up, and Reynolds will kick this goal and make it 10-8. And wow, what a momentum changer from a great bit of individual football from Isaac Luke.
Absolutely, and that's his value. That is his value. He's a wonderful player. As you said in the call, David, he's been very quiet in the first half, but they haven't been able to build any momentum. But then he just saw a little gap open up there. There was a fringe defender came out of the ruck a bit too quickly. He saw the gap, he went for it, and under extreme pressure, somehow he got it down. He 10-8. Can you believe it?
So Reynolds, he's kicked 1 from 1. Can he make it 2 from 2 before half-time? Kenny Watt. And on the low scoreboard at half-time, it will read Canterbury Bankstown 10, South Sydney 8. And the 8 points for South Sydney. It'll be controversial, no doubt, but we thought that perhaps an 8-point try was going to be... It certainly gave the referees a big out when we realised Luke had got the ball on the line. Otherwise, they would have been talking penalty try and not the 8-point try. But 2 tries in the first half to Canterbury, both of them to the wingers, Curtis Rayner and Sam Perrott, after passes were thrown along the back line and they went to ground, and the wingers picked them up and got round the defence. Hodgkinson, 1 goal from 2 attempts, and Isaac Luke, as you just heard, scoring a try. He's in the concussion bin. Adam Reynolds converted the try, then converted the penalty, which was a result of a misdemeanour in the try try-scoring movement from Isaac Luke. The referee's being escorted off by the security guard. Don't think the Canterbury fans will give them too many kind words.
Yeah, actually, I would have thought they might have got a bigger send-off than that. I think they were pretty light on them there, the Bulldogs fans. They wouldn't be happy with that. I mean, they dominated that first half, and rightly so, but to be going in at 10-8, I mean, Mike and Maguire be doing handstands in there. They played terribly, the Bunnies, and they're right in the game. It's ridiculous.
And Greg Inglis had all that time to rest that knee that was troubling him too, and he's up the tunnel now. And, anyway, interesting to see what'll happen here in the second half, but that'll be the talking point tomorrow, no doubt, as for Tyre Power, the half-time break, and here's Mark Levy.
Good on you, David. Thank you. Plenty to talk about out of that first half of football. The Bulldogs 10, leading South Sydney 8. We'll take a break on the continuous call team. Trust you're enjoying a good Friday, the Easter long weekend. Half-time thanks to Tyre Power. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer. We're back to have a look at the first half with Canterbury 10 leading South Sydney 8.
Today's NRL Game Changer. Brought to you by CrownBet. With CrownBet's NRL head-to-head multi, you can stay in the game longer. Place a 4+ leg head-to-head multi, and if one of your selections doesn't win, you'll receive a matched bonus bet up to $50. Join today at crownbet.com.au. The game just changed.
Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
Buying tyres online may sound like a great idea. But what are you really buying? Don't gamble with tyre safety. Before you even think about buying tyres online, get the power of expert advice from your local Tyre Power owner-operator. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91.
The world's finest thoroughbreds will converge on Royal Randwick this April for the championships, the grand finals of Australian racing. 8 Group 1 races and over $19 million in prize money. Enjoy this grand event with racing, fashion, punting, socialising and dining in abundance. Book now at theraces.com.au and get 25% off general admission tickets. Don't miss the championships, Easter Saturday, April 4 and Saturday, April 11 at Royal Randwick.
The Daily Telegraph's Nissan NRL Supercoach is back, and Anthony Minicello and Terry Biviano will be there with you every round.
It's easy to register, easy to play.
And there's even bigger prizes.
Register today at dailytelegraph.com.au/Supercoach. Terms and conditions apply.
Our new chap wants to get his little girls to Disneyland. Can he make their dreams come true? $1 Million Minute. Today, 5:30 on 7.
For a kitchen or bathroom even celebrities would envy, see hollywoodbathrooms.com.au.
The continuous call team on 2GB is thanks to Holden, Coles Supermarkets, Lowe's, Harvey Norman, CrownBet, Paddy's Markets and AAMI.
Welcome back to a wet ANZ Stadium where it's Canterbury 10 leading South Sydney 8. Let's have a look at the first half action thanks to Tyre Power, our loyal sponsors here on the continuous call team. It's Mark Levy alongside David Morrow, Darryl Brohman, Mark Riddell's down on the touchline. Big man, it was all the Bulldogs, and then that, well, I guess you'd call it a controversial decision from the referees. We think they were right to award the 8-point try, despite the fact we thought it was Sam Cassiano who was leading with the knees, and that's put South Sydney right back into this football game.
Oh, absolutely it has. Look, the Dogs led 10-0 probably about 20 minutes into the game, and then they had a heap of opportunities to score more points, but they started losing the ball, etc., etc. They got the same disease that the Bunnies had for most of that half, and to be down by 10 points to 8 at half-time, the Bunny supporters would be doing handstands. They'd be absolutely delighted with that, because that's probably as poor a half as football I've seen from them in the last probably since about mid-last year. And they were quite average, I thought. They lacked a bit of energy. Their completion rate was poor. We'll probably get that shortly, I'd imagine, the completion rate. Yep. That was poor. And for them to be only down by 2 points at half-time is remarkable. But the Bulldogs to be ruining the opportunities they had as well. They scored 2 tries. They looked the goods. And then they started having passing issues as well. They just couldn't get the ball over the line. There was some great defence. Inglis made a one-on-one, I think, with Josh Jackson to deny him a try. There was a great tackle on Greg Eastwood to deny him a try from one of the Bunnies players. And then they just basically hung in there for about the last 15 minutes, the Bunnies, even though they were going poorly. They just hung in. And then it was the brilliance of Isaac Luke that got them over the line. as we said, I can't believe that they put Josh Morris on reporter. I thought it was all Cassiano. 8-point try. They find themselves 2 points down at half-time, the Bunnies.
I'll have a look at the stats in a moment, Piggy Riddell, but down to you on the touchline, mate. Look, the full credit to the Bulldogs. They just came out of the blocks absolutely flying, didn't they?
Yeah, they certainly did. Look, they were certainly the better of the two sides in that first half. The Bunnies were very, very ordinary, as Big Man's already touched on, but I think the South Sydney side and Michael Maguire, they'd be probably the happier of the two sides at half-time, considering how poorly they played to only be behind by 2 points at half-time. Oh, I think that's pretty good. Just on the incident that we've all spoken about, I was just talking with some colleagues down here, and Josh Morris did make contact with the boot, and then Cassiano came in afterwards. It was, for me, it was very hard to pick up that contact from Morris. I didn't see it. I saw him lead with his boot, but I just didn't think it made contact. So if that's made contact, he's in a fair bit of trouble.
Well, you never know, Big Man. I mean, when the match review panel has a look at the incident on Monday, if they've got Josh Morris for the boot contacting the head of Isaac Luke, and then Cassiano coming in with the knee as well, the big fella might be in strife too.
Well, it might be the case. I must admit I didn't see it. In saying that, I was concentrating on what Cassiano was doing, I suppose, and didn't really see anything from Josh Morris. But if the boys from Channel 9 down there are saying that's the case, well, I'll have to have another look at it. I've just got the completion rates here. I'm absolutely amazed by what I'm reading here. South Sydney have completed 14 of 18. This is a different game I'm looking at.
That can't be right, can it?
I can't believe that. And the Bulldogs have actually completed 17 of 23, which is 74%. And the South Sydney side 78%. So to me that's a strange situation. Line breaks 3 for the Bunnies, but they've had to make, I'll tell you, this is the telling stat,
tackles,
207 tackles as opposed to the Bulldogs 126. So no wonder they were looking tired in the game. They've got a nice 10-minute break here at half time to get refreshed, but they need to find something, the Bunnies, to win this game. They don't deserve to be as close as they are.
Yep, I agree with you. Mark Riddell, there's an email here from Steve. Great call, guys. What about Isaac Luke? What a warrior. I'm betting he'll be back for the second half and play a part in a try or two for the Bunnies. We saw him go up at half-time, so we'll need you to have a look at the dummy half. But, geez, he's a quality footballer, isn't he, Mark?
Yeah, he certainly is. Look, he's one of the best hookers that we've got in the game today, and it was a really good try. It's probably a trademark try, isn't it, for Isaac Luke? He's so strong, pound for pound. Boys, just on those completion rates, they're misleading, Like I think Big Bar mentioned Souths were 14 from 18. They well may have been, but 10 of those 14 sets that they did complete, they could have been coming off their own goal line. I think it's a very misleading stat, that one. I don't think we should worry about that one too much at all.
I'm with you, Piggy. I'm anti-stats. I am. When I was playing, I used to get up on the Monday morning. If I played okay, I'd go and look at the Telegraph to see how many tackles I made. If I made more than 10, I was happy. If I played crap, I didn't buy the paper. Just the way I was. Didn't look at them.
So if you were playing for South Sydney in this first half of football, you'd look at that first half completion rate and go, all right, we'll run with that. Pretty happy with that.
Oh, if it was mine, I'd be happy with that. But it's different when you're up here in the box. You can bag them any way you like. It's
10 points to 8. Canterbury over South Sydney. 10 points to 8. We're having a look at the first half thanks to Tyre Power. We've got the cheer girls out there at the moment. Piggy Riddell, I know we've had quite a bit of rain over the last 24 hours in Sydney. It was persistent through that first half. Is it slippery out there for the players as far as they're concerned?
Yeah, it's still raining now. You guys probably may not be able to pick it up, but it's just been continuous right throughout this first half and still now as we speak. And look, obviously that's going to contribute to the errors that we're seeing out there, and also probably some of the penalties that have been given for hands in the ruck, because it's just very hard to control the ball in these sort of conditions.
All right, Piggy, back down to you. We'll let you find out what the two coaches have had to say and get an update for us on Isaac Luke. Big Man, you were talking at the start of the broadcast about the fact that Timmatic has changed his name, the entertainer that we had perform prior to kick-off. Well, as you like to say, our listeners are our best researchers.
Yes.
And Chizza writes he's received a trademark complaint from a Swedish washing machine company that's called they produced the Timmatic 3000, which is why he's had to change his name.
Ah.
Well, there you go.
So he's changed it to what? Tim Jumanji.
Timmamunji.
Wasn't there a movie called Jumanji?
Jumanji, exactly.
He's going to get another one. Trademark.
Well, why don't you come up with a name for it?
I've got it.
What?
Timbo. Timbo, the fans would love it. Introducing Timbo.
What do you think, Piggy?
I like Timo.
Timo.
That's a good Aussie name, isn't it?
Well, he did come
Timo.
from, what was the show called? Australia's Got Talent?
Something like that, dancing.
Timbo. Right, that's perfect. I love it. Good on you. 10 points to 8 Canterbury over South Sydney as the big man. Well, what about Thirsty's performance? He's gone out the back to fix himself a cup of tea just to keep those vocal cords warm for the second half, and he's returned with a cookies and cream ice cream for us.
Quite nice. I very rarely buy paddle pops or ice creams or whatever these things are called, but they're nice. He's already demolished his. I've had to do this magnificent halftime summary. Can you please go to a break so I can eat this?
No, I'm just going to make you suffer even longer. It's all right for David. He's not on air, so he's allowed to eat. But you've ripped it open. You're already halfway through.
It's melting beautifully in my hand.
All right, 10 points to 8 Canterbury over South Sydney. Should I take the break, Thirsty?
Take a break.
We'll take a break and come back with more on the continuous call.
Whether you're a keen fisherman or you just love the outdoors, you need Shimano's Evair Aqua all-purpose outdoor shoes. The Evair Aqua range is slip-resistant and perfect for boat decks, strolling through streams and when you're stuck out in the rain. Made with ultra-lightweight materials, Shimano's Evair Aqua range features a Velcro locking strap, meaning that once they're on for good. Look for Shimano's Evair Aqua shoes in all good fishing stores. Shimano Evair Aqua, submersible shoes for outdoor dudes.
Sanity, proud sponsor of the Ray Hadley Morning Show. For the latest CDs and DVDs, shop in store or online at sanity.com.au. Sanity, great service, great value.
Well, if you're planning an Easter celebration this weekend, visit Sydney's Paddy's Markets, Haymarket or Flemington. Paddy's has all your fresh foods needs, whether it's fresh seafood, meats, deli, poultry, nuts and, of course, fresh fruit and vegetables, and everything at Paddy's great market prices. With over 1,800 stands, that's right, 1,800 stands in 2 huge locations, you're sure to find a bargain at Paddy's. Paddy's Haymarket open tomorrow from 10 o'clock and Paddy's Flemington open tomorrow from 6 a.m. For details, visit the website, which is paddysmarkets.com.au. 1,800 stands in 2 huge locations. There's sure to be a bargain for you at Paddy's. Paddy's Haymarket open tomorrow from 10 a.m. And whether you want to take the family down to Paddy's Flemington and have a look around, it's open tomorrow from 6 a.m. Visit the website for all of the details, paddysmarkets.com.au.
Palmetto Buffalo Grass, the #1 selling buffalo in the world, is the proud sponsor of the Continuous Call team's second leg of the Final Farewell Tour. Palmetto Buffalo Grass. Tough, hard-wearing and #1. Visit palmetto.com.au.
Our new chap wants to get his little girls to Disneyland. Can he make their dreams come true? $1 Million Minute. Today, 5:30 on 7.
Make your neighbours jealous. Call Hollywood Bathrooms 99675675 675.
The continuous call team on 2GB is thanks to Holden, Coles Supermarkets, IMB, The Daily and Sunday Telegraph, Shimano, Accor Hotels and Blackwoods.
Welcome back to Continuous Call Team from ANZ Stadium. Happy Easter wherever you're listening right across the country, and trust you're enjoying a long weekend, the start of it anyway. 10 points to 8 Canterbury over South Sydney. Let us know where you're tuning in via 2GB.com. Click onto the feedback icon. It's Mark Levy alongside David Morrow, Darryl Brohman and Mark Piggy Riddell down on the touchline. Good crowd in, probably in excess of 30,000, big man. I'm sure you're with me on this one. They're sitting up high in the grandstand trying to keep dry, but plenty of supporters here in the blue and white. Predominantly Canterbury fans out here cheering on their team, holding that 2-point buffer at the break.
Yeah.
You weren't listening, were you?
No, I wasn't. What'd you say? I was eating my ice cream.
Don't worry.
Eating ice cream. So.
Concentrate, big man. Here comes the South Sydney side, led out by Greg Inglis. It's good to know you got good backup up here, Piggy.
That was brilliant, wasn't it?
What'd you say?
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to repeat it now. 10 points to 8 Canterbury over South Sydney. Concentrate to Thirsty, because you'll be co-commentating the second half with him.
Okay,
Thirsty.
come on, Thirsty. Give us your best.
It's all yours. I'm going to eat my ice cream. Here you go, 2-point buffer.
The great thing is Greg Inglis is running back out there and no sign of a limp there at the moment, Mark Riddell. So that's the first bit of good news from South Sydney.
Yeah, look, it certainly is. Look, I was just having a look. Isaac Luke still hasn't returned from the sheds. I think they've still got a little bit of time.
I think they've got 15 minutes of playing time, so they'd have another 15 minutes because officially he's gone off at half-time.
That's right, yeah, he's only gone off right on that half-time siren. They're yet to make a decision. Just for the Bulldogs, Tim Laffey, the mail coming out of their camp is that he will not be back this afternoon.
Well, that's bad news from Tim Laffey's point of view.
What do you think? Can I just ask you, I touched on it before, what do you think about Laurie Daly saying that Brett Morris won't be considered for the fullback spot, State of Origin first?
Well,
he's saying he'll be on the wing.
Look, that's Laurie Laurie's the man who makes the decisions, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'd be keeping all my options open anyway and not restricting myself. But Laurie's done that in the past. He's made statements and he's stuck to his guns. And
well, we do have, I mean, when I say we, New South Wales do have a hell of a lot of good fullbacks to choose from, but he's certainly up there in the calibre of Josh Dugan and Brett Stewart and those, in my opinion.
Geez, these ice creams are good.
Yeah. I still haven't finished mine.
Well, I tell you what, the body language there when they came back onto the second half, South Sydney are up for a big 40 minutes. They ran back out there with purpose in their stride, and the Bulldogs walked out there, heads bowed, as if to say, how did we ever let that try in before half-time? Mightn't work out that way, but certainly the way the South Sydney side came back out, the momentum change before half-time, certainly has got them mentally switched on for what I think will be a big second half from them. They're still got to improve markedly on their first half as they've got the ball about 22, 23 metres out on their own goal line. The ball goes across and Lowe it is bringing the ball up, and he's come on. Well, he's obviously come on as a replacement for Isaac Luke at half-time, because no one actually came onto the field at half, because Isaac Luke actually went off at the break, taking it up as Stewart, and he's tackled 15 metres short of the halfway line. Inglis comes up as first receiver, and he runs straight and hard. That's a good run, but more importantly, it's a good sign that Inglis has got confidence. His knee's okay. Glenn Stewart runs to the line. He takes them on his tackle. 39 metres out from the Canterbury goal line. 20 in from touch. Ball fed away to Reynolds. Reynolds pumps it high in the air. Brett Morris getting underneath it, and he takes it comfortably about 8 metres out from his own goal line. He got through one, got through two, got through three, and finally he's put down about 22 out from his own goalpost down that southern end of the field, the low scoreboard. 1 minute gone in the second half. Bulldogs 10, Rabbitohs 8. That's probably South's best set in the game so far.
You know, it was a good sign that when Greg Inglis took the ball forward. Now, before half-time, he had his knee heavily strapped. Well, they've taken that strapping off, so obviously he's recovered okay. Luke Keary's gone to hooker for the time being. Here's Cassiano, who has had a big impact on this game, cracking the ball forward. Isaac Luke, it'll be interesting to see whether he comes back on after the 10 minutes.
Leisha gets the ball away to Graham. Well, the fact that he had blood coming out of him would suggest, well, the doctors would be checking quite closely and scrutinising everything that could go on as Cassiano takes the ball to the line and gets a one-handed little drop pass as if he was high in the air like in a slam dunk, wasn't it? Yeah, a pair of Air Jordans or something. You know, ball comes out the back, goes to Leisha, on it goes to Reynolds, and Reynolds, Josh that is, puts a grubbing kick in. It's going to be fielded on the far side by Johnson, and Johnson gets the ball back, and then he's well wrapped up in a good tackle about 10 to 20 metres out from his own goal line. Goodwin goes for a gallop as he works it back towards his own 30. Let's go down to the half-time. Let's go down, find out what else Big Piggy Riddell was able to find out at half-time. Mark.
Yeah, just for the Bunnies with Isaac Luke, the report was he had 13 minutes remaining, so he was still going through those concussion tests in the dressing room, so we're yet to get the mail on Isaac Luke, whether or not he will come back this afternoon.
As Glenn Stewart takes it ahead for South Sydney, and he's got the ball about 38, 39 metres out from Canterbury's line. Keary at dummy half. He gets the pass away then. It goes to Reynolds, and Reynolds goes for a run himself. He tries a little chip and chase. It's in no man's land. And would you believe the other number 7 comes from nowhere, Hodkinson, and cleans it up for Canterbury. And he'll play the ball 25 out from his own goal line.
Well, I like to see that there from Reynolds, because to me that shows as though he's prepared to do something a little bit different. The Bulldogs defence rushed up. He saw a bit of a gap. He put the chip over the top. He didn't get the bounce he wanted. Hodkinson did, but I think it's good from him that they're showing a little bit of enterprise, at least the Bunnies.
Well, they didn't show much of it in the first half, and even though the scoreboard says they really weren't in this game until the 39th minute of the first half, and here's Brett Morris going for a gallop out of dummy half as he found a little chink in the armour and got the ball to the 40-metre line inside South territory. Out the back, a pass comes from Hodkinson to Tony Williams to Josh Morris. Josh Morris puts on the accelerator, but Millard's there, and then at the last moment he got a pass away to Rona, back to Hodkinson. On it goes to Clemmer. Clemmer gets to the 10-metre line. He's still running across field, Clemmer. Then he looks for a gap. Keary and Stewart are there, and he'll play the ball 10 metres out from South's goal line. So Canterbury with a chance now to extend this lead. They go back to the right. It's Josh Reynolds. Long cut-out ball. Not the best of passes on the far side, and Perrott couldn't catch it. It was one that he had to jump for in the air to catch, and it was basically behind him as well. And so the opportunity literally goes east there for Canterbury, into the eastern grandstand, in fact. And South Sydney come up with the ball, a handover 10 out from their own goal line.
Yeah, the pass had to be perfect, I think, there for Sam Perrott to score, and it wasn't perfect. He just dropped it. There was plenty of cover defence coming across for the Bunnies there. They need to start well, the Bunnies. They have started better, as you said. Good game of football now. 10-8. 35 and a half minutes to go in this game.
And Thomas Burgess plays the ball. It comes to Reynolds, and it comes to this side of the field. Oh, gee, there's a heavy tackle. And it was one of the better tackles we've seen in the game, and it was Tony Williams who made it as Lowe takes the ball back to the 11 of the halfway line. He'll play the ball. The ball goes back. No, it doesn't. Keary went one way. Then he sends it back the other. Thomas Burgess went throwing a few dummies and then realised, well, there's no one even to pass it to, so I better go for a gallop. Ball fed away to Reynolds. Reynolds again has plenty of time to look up and measure his kick, and the kick is bouncing around. Will it go dead? I don't know. It just does. One roll of the football and it hit the dead ball line, and now they get 7 tackles. Canterbury back at their 20-metre line.
Get James cleaned up.
It was almost perfect, wasn't it? James Graham clearly has got a bit of blood there because they're saying you've got to get him cleaned up over his, I think it might be over his right eye. But that was almost a perfect kick there from Adam Reynolds, who hasn't had a great day with the boot. That would have been lovely if that would have stayed in for the Bunnies, but it didn't. Here's Clemmer showing a bit of energy here as well. Their interchange bench have done a good job for them, the Dogs.
And Mark Riddell, it's amazing. A little bit of confidence. That 8 points has really sparked South Sydney.
Yeah, it certainly has. Look, and it gave Michael Maguire, the coach, something to work with going into half-time. And as you said, they've come out firing to start this second half. But, boys, it's just going to come down to errors, isn't it, today? We're in the wet, slippery conditions. Sides have got to control that ball.
Canterbury have got the ball back on the halfway line. They're on the eastern scrum line. Graham has been fixed up for the time being, and he gets another knock round the knock, and I reckon the referee's going to put him in the blood bit again here. You can hear the referee. Got to be cleaned up, mate. Well, you don't understand the pace of this game.
Well, you know what? How tough is he? What a great player he is. You know, at half-time,
you got to go, mate. Get
the top tackler and most metres run, James Graham, on the ground. What a player he is.
Yeah, once you get told the second time, you must leave the field, don't you? Or that.
Well, he's not.
He's certainly got to be taken out the back. All they're doing is wiping the blood around, and because the referee's saying get him off, and here we go.
Got to go.
Got to go.
Just go. The second time, mate.
That's the second time. See it?
Don't talk, just go. Look at him blowing up.
He's still trying to work out what's happening. No. Now, if he doesn't go off, get him off. So you can hear the referees.
Got to go.
He's got to go. And what, of course, they were trying to do was avoid an interchange. And they didn't. They had to go, and Tolman's gone back out there, and it's an interchange they've had to use that obviously they didn't want to. Clemmer takes it ahead, and Clemmer, he's played well, and Clemmer's still going. And this fellow with those long praying mantis legs gets to within 11 metres of the goal line. I tell you, one stride goes 10 metres, doesn't it? Ball goes to Reynolds. Reynolds puts a grubbing kick in and trying to play soccer with it. Hodgkinson, he can't get there, and diving on the loose ball and doing a great job there is Grebsmule, who, in a difficult situation, he cleaned up that quite comfortably in the end for South Sydney, but Hodgkinson almost got a foot on that, and had he done so, who knows, that could have easily been a Canterbury try.
Well, it was a missed kick. It was one of those kicks where he miskicked it, but it ended up being a great kick, and Grebsmule did brilliantly. He just gathered it in somehow. Ball, bouncing around on the ground. As you said, there was a couple of Bulldogs players steaming through. He managed to control it. And the Bunnies off the hook here as we see Big George Burgess go forward.
This one's Thomas.
Oh, is that Tommy? Whoever it was.
Well, you got it right. Burgess now an inside ball to Inglis. Inglis trying to get it away. I think he's going to be trapped here. There was a little inside ball from Glenn Stewart, and the moment he passed it, he said, I've fed Inglis into a four-man tackle here. And actually, Graham, I noticed that Mark Riddell, he's actually gone up the tunnel. They can't stop the bleeding by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think they were going to have a closer look at it as well. I think he's got to change his jersey as well with all the blood on the first jersey. So they might as well go and get it done properly so it doesn't reoccur when he goes back on the field, considering they've made that interchange.
Good call. I think they put a headgear on him or something too and strap it to his head.
Canterbury, here comes Clemmer again. Gee, he's had a big role to play since he's come on as well. And hasn't he grown in stature during the last year? And a penalty. And this is against the two second rowers. As they take the quick tap here, and I tell you what, he's caught them napping as Lucia, and he's run a good 15 metres downfield. He's got within 18 metres of the goalpost. I tell you what, there are a lot of blokes asleep there. Reynolds gets out of dummy half. Josh Reynolds throws a couple of dummies, and he's caught and put down about 5 or 6 metres out from the goal line. On the attack they go again here, the Doggies. They're leading by 2 on the low scoreboard. It comes to Clemmer. Clemmer for the line. I tell you what, it took 3 South players to stop him, and in there affecting the tackle there was Lowe and Inglis, and also one of the Burgess twins was there as well. Now Tony Williams for the line. Can he score? No.
How'd they stop him? It was Burgess, George Burgess, over the top.
Ball comes away to Leisha. Leisha gets it on to Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson now to Reynolds. Reynolds puts a little grubber kick, but they're getting back there. Alex Johnson just beat Glenn Stewart. He knocked it down. I didn't think either of them was going to do exactly what they did. They conceded the line dropout, but Josh Reynolds, that was a good, clear thinking bit of football. Not going to score the try, but let's get 6 more tackles and come back and attack again.
Yeah, second best option, but he well handled there by Alex Johnson on the wing. He had Moses and by, steaming down the outside, but he just got back and just confidently tapped it over. This is where their defence has got to come into play here, clearly. They're under enormous pressure here, the Bunnies. Their defence has been okay, but they need to step it up. Actually, it's been a long time since the Dogs scored. I think it was a 15-minute mark when they last scored a try.
Oh, and they had plenty of opportunities to score extra tries in that first half, and they made a lot of errors too after that 15-minute mark. They could have easily led 24-0 at half-time as Tony Williams rescues the situation. Cassiano's back out there. He played the ball, and all of a sudden there was no dummy half. And Tony Williams sprinting. Haven't seen him sprint like that for a long time, but he got the dummy half and cleaned it up as quickly Josh Morris gets the ball away to the other Josh Reynolds. And he's tackled a few Joshes in this Canterbury side, isn't there? He's tackled about 25 metres. Jackson. Ball fed away to Tolman, and Tolman's tackled about 18 metres out from the goalpost at the northern end of the field, with South Sydney's defending in their second half. Played to Leisha. Leisha on to Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson to the line, throws a dummy, gets it away to Josh Morris. Josh Morris tries to get away from defenders and can't. He's tackled 10 metres out from South's line, about 15 in from touch on this western side of the field. Williams at dummy half. Long pass comes away then. Went to Leisha, and Leisha puts a kick in that's an absolute Joe Cocker, but then it sat up awkwardly, but Glenn Stewart cleaned it up beautifully underneath his goal post. I don't think...
Yeah, it wasn't much of a kick, was it, there from Michael Leisha, but in the end it did bounce quite awkwardly there for Glenn Stewart, who was there to pick it up. They're struggling to get out of their own half here. The Bunnies at the moment, they desperately need their hooker back there. They may have dropped the ball. It's gone backwards. The Bulldogs have picked this up.
The Bulldogs have picked it up because the man who made the run was Breedsville, wasn't it? Or was it Reddy? Reddy was who made the run. And he tried to get a pass away, which wasn't necessary. And he just dropped the ball, and so Canterbury given a great opportunity to extend this lead again. And Clemmer puts on the accelerator as he charges into the defence, and he's tackled 10 metres out from the goalpost, right in the centre of the field. The ball goes back to the right. Josh Reynolds with it. Josh Reynolds out to go. Oh, great tackle. Ball and all over there, 10 metres out from the goal line. McLean said, come here, and rattle the rib cage with a beauty. Clemmer takes it ahead. Clemmer taken by Tyrrell, and also McLean close to the goal line. 2 tackles left in this set for Canterbury. Low scoreboard has Canterbury in front by 2. Ball played to Leisha. Leisha to Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson away. Inside ball to Brett Morris, and Brett Morris keeps it alive. It goes to Williams, back to Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson running around like a headless chook under the scoreboard, or underneath the goalpost as well. And he's tackled about 5 metres out from the goal line. It comes to Leisha. On the right goes to Reynolds. Reynolds puts a little kick in. The ball has gone loose. The ball has gone loose and picked up by Morris. And Morris has scored a try right left with the right uprights.
Have a try.
I think you'll find Josh Morris has picked up this ball in the most unbelievable position. He plays in the left centre, and he scored about 10 metres to the right of the upright. He followed that kick through, which I'm certain rebounded off a South Sydney player's foot or leg, and Josh Morris has got the bounce and scored the try that gives the low scoreboard 6 points the margin. Bulldogs 14, Rabbitohs 8.
Yeah, I've got no doubt this is a try as well, David. It was a funny kick, wasn't it, really? He was just on the inside of Josh Reynolds, got his boot to the ball. It probably only travelled 3 or 4 metres, but it was far enough to just get behind the South Sydney defensive line there as Josh Morris steams up on the inside. The ball gets knocked, I think, from one South Sydney player into the hands of Morris. Now, whether it went forward and hit, no, it didn't. He regathered the ball, he scored. That's a try. And well, you know what? They've had all the ball, all the field position, didn't do much with it. You've got to say that's a little bit lucky. The only thing I'm wondering is whether the ball may have come off Josh Reynolds after it hit the Souths player. But I don't think so. I think that's a try.
Well, I think this is a try to Josh Morris, but Mark Riddell, it's hard to believe that Josh Morris, who plays in the left centre, was virtually on the right side of the field to score that try.
Yeah, it was great work from the Bulldogs centre. They're having a look now. Yeah, look, I've got no problem. I can't see any reason not to give it. I know that Josh Reynolds was coming through, but, boys, it's a double whammy as we see the decision for the try. I'm sure this is going to be green. It's a double whammy because Isaac Luke will not be back this afternoon.
Well, it looked that way when he went off, didn't it? So Josh Morris hadn't scored a try for a year. He scored one last week. He scores one this week. The coach hire video referee is giving it the green light. 28 minutes to go in the game. And Hodgkinson an opportunity here to stretch this lead to 8. And in the way this game's been, 8 points is a big lead.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Bunnies have only really troubled the scoreboard for about a minute of the game so far. Scored a try and got two shots at goal for their 8 points. But I think the Bulldogs needed to score them because they had all the field position, they had all the possession, and they were pounding the Bunnies' line. It was a sort of a nothing kick really there from Josh Reynolds, but just set up beautifully. Came off a South player straight into the hands of Josh Morris. He scored next to the post. Hodgkinson will convert this. This will be 16-8 with 27.5 minutes to go.
Hodgkinson to the right of the uprights moves in and he buries it into the third row of the crowd behind the goalpost. And on the low scoreboard, it's Canterbury Bankstown 16, South Sydney 8, 27 minutes to go in the game. And both sides now lost players for the rest of the game. Of course, Tim Laffey is not going to take any further part. And you just heard from Mark Riddell that the hooker Isaac Luke, who scored the try that got South back into the game, is not going to take any further part either. It looked like it's concussion. I just said at half-time to you.
Well, you did.
The referee, the doctor, that when you see blood, you think, well, if blood's a result of the head knock, you just can't take the chance that there isn't something wrong.
Yeah, well, clearly the doctors made that decision, David, and I applaud the NRL for trying to do the right thing with the players' safety. We talk about long-term future. You see it, as you know, all the talk in the NFL these days about players who had concussion, etc., etc. Well, it's now clearly filtered back to rugby league, and they're taking the safety first approach, which I think is commendable.
As they bring the ball up, and here's another Josh. This time it's Jackson, and he's tackled 10 short of the halfway line. He'll play the ball. The ball played to Leisha. Away it goes to Tolman, and Tolman works it back to the halfway as the ball right in the centre of the park. The lights themselves starting to take over from the daylight on what's been a cloud and dark day here in Sydney. It hasn't rained that much in the second half, though, but still most of the people are well rugged up as the temperature certainly dropped a bit in the last half hour or so as Inglis brings the ball back to the 30-metre line. He'll play it to Reynolds, and Reynolds decides to go to the right. And let's see what they can do in this set, South, because they started this second half well. But then the mistake from Reddy just turned the game totally the other side. A pass that didn't have to be made, and all of a sudden Canterbury got on the front foot.
Well, you're absolutely right. Look, I don't like being critical of players, but Joel Reddy has to be just clinging to his position by a thread. He's been a weak link there for most of this season, in all honesty, and he's still keeping his spot there.
Ball played, it comes to Keary, and Keary to Reynolds, and Reynolds offloads to McQueen in the centre of the park, and he's taken a solid tackle. Down low was Tolman. There was another defender over the top in the form of Jackson. Away it goes to Adam Reynolds. He kicks, and he's looking for the ground between the fullback Brett Morris and the winger Perrott. He finds it. Morris goes back for the ball, and then there's a line of South Sydney players down there to meet him. He'll play the ball about 18 metres out from his own goal line. Perrott, he sends the ball across to the right side of the field to Mbai, who's basically been playing in the right centre position since Laffey went off. He'll play the ball 22 metres out from the goal line as they work it back towards the 30-metre line inside Canterbury's territory. And there's a South Sydney player who came out of the pack then, Glenn Stewart, and he's down on the ground, and he's moved, but he hasn't moved much. He's struggling at the moment as Glenn Stewart, 25 metres out from the line, as now Brett Morris goes for a little gallop, and he's put on the deck about a couple of metres shy of the halfway line. He gets up to play the ball. The ball's played, and Leisha was trying to milk a penalty, and Josh Reynolds kicks for touch on the far side and kicks out on the full. And there is concern for Glenn Stewart here.
He's called for the referee to stop play here for Glenn Stewart. Now, I don't know whether he's copped a head knock here or not, but he's struggling to get to his feet. The trainer's there with him at the moment. So this is not good news because, in my opinion, he's been their best. The Bunnies' best today, Glenn Stewart, in attack and defence. But he's really struggling here at the moment.
And Mark Riddell takes a bit for Glenn Stewart to stay down.
Yeah, it certainly does. He came reeling out of a tackle, and he wasn't good straight away. He hardly moved. You see him walking off now, and he's walking straight off. He's coming off the field. The trainer signalled straight away to the sideline that he wasn't right. Let's hope it's not too serious, because as you guys have said, he's been very good for this poor, ordinary South Sydney side this afternoon.
Now, I'm not sure if
he's copped a head knock here. What's happened? I think one of his teammates have come in while they were making that tackle. He's copped a knee, I think, from one of the Burgess boys. I think this is a concussion.
Well, that's a big blow to them. because...
Trainer hasn't tapped his head, though, saying it was concussion, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Well, we'll wait and see what card he gets, but they normally give you a concussion card, and I haven't seen the NRL official put anything up yet.
Is that a red card? What's that?
Oh, there's a red card now. There we are. Now I've seen it. I'm waiting to see what it is. So he's in the concussion bin. As South Sydney have the ball after that kick from Josh Reynolds went sailing over the eastern touchline on the full. And it's a great opportunity for South Sydney to hit back here. Keary goes to the left. It comes away to Clark. Clark takes it ahead. He bounces out of the defence initially, then comes back and he's tackled about 22 metres out on the goal line as Keary runs across field. He looks for Tyrrell, and Tyrrell comes down the centre to be tackled by Clemmer and Eastwood. 12 metres out from the goal post at Canterbury's end of the field. Keary's in at dummy half. Gee, Tyrrell doesn't look 100% either at the moment. Long cut-out ball goes to Millard. Oh, Millard, I tell you what, he almost got around Josh Morris. But Josh Morris probably said, well, I know you're not as quick as me, so I'll give you the outside and we'll clean you up very easily. Last play goes to Reynolds. Crossfield kick that isn't great. Coming for the ball. The ball's been knocked down here by Josh Jackson. The ball's been knocked down by South. I'm just going to see what will happen here. Referee said 6 to go as Clark picks it up. And Clark comes back at the Canterbury line and he'll play the ball around about 18, make it 20, I should say 18 metres out on the goal post. And there's a few... rabbit killers, I think is probably the best way to describe it, in there in that tackle. Not sure what.
Well, they don't punch anymore, they just slap.
Yeah. Ball comes to Grant. Long cut-out ball from Inglis, but it's not the best of passes. And on the far side of the field, Johnson slips over as he got it. He did well to catch it, in fact, as they've got the ball. The ball will come back this side of the field as it goes to Burgess, and Big George Burgess looks up and decides to have a crack. He's going to be tackled about 8 metres out on the goal post. South Sydney on the attack. On the low scoreboard, they trail by 8. Ball comes to Reynolds. Reynolds will hold it up now. Johnson in the centre of the park. He got it away to Millard. Millard again rounded up by the cover defence here. In fact, at the last moment, he tried to get a pass away. Another stupid piece of football that wasn't necessary from a South Sydney player. And Josh Morris said, thank you very much, cleans it up for Canterbury. The pass wasn't on.
It was a ridiculous play. Even if it did go to a South Sydney player, nothing was going to happen. There were Dogs players everywhere. He's tried to pass the ball, hit one of the Morris boys. It was a dreadful pass. They are so disorganised here. And I suppose with your hooker out of the side, you'd understand that. You've had to put Luke Keary into dummy half, but they are, at the moment, just going through a real bad patch, the Bunnies.
Mark Riddell, last 2 attacking sets for South Sydney been dreadful.
Yeah, they certainly have. And, boys, I want to ask you guys this question, like, what can we do as a game when someone like Isaac Luke, he gets ruled out of the game through a professional foul for the opposition, and now the South Sydney side, they're down to 16 men for the rest of the game, and it's one of the most important positions on the field at hooker that's ruined their attack, as we can see.
And what all the booing and queuing was for was Moses Mbai put a kick downfield. It's picked up by Alex Johnson, and Johnson puts on the accelerator. He's back over the halfway. He can't keep it going. And what they were yelling for, the Canterbury fans, was a penalty because Inglis and Mbai came together at the moment the ball was kicked. I think they thought that Inglis might have been a little bit late getting there, but there was a referee standing right alongside them, so he was quite happy that it passed muster. And then Alex Johnson almost came back when he returned that ball and almost got into open space.
I think Alex Johnson's playing fullback there, you know. I think Inglis has just got a roving commission here. I'm almost certain Alex Johnson's playing fullback.
Well, Inglis is playing as a back rower, I think. He's playing in the forwards. He's trying to inspire his team from up front as the ball comes away now to Keary. Keary looking for a runner. He throws a dummy. He looks for another runner in the form of Lowe. Lowe comes down the centre. He's hammered in a great tackle. Right underneath the goalpost. The tackler was Tolman. Bowler comes away to Clark. In turn it goes to Reynolds. And Reynolds puts a kick in. And picking the ball up is Dave Tyrrell. And there's going to be a try. It's a try to Dave Tyrrell. Oh, the prop forwards union. I'm not sure whether that passes muster. He picked up a little grubber kick and he scored under the black dot.
Of course it passed as muster, whatever you said. It passed muster or whatever. What's passed as muster?
Well, how does a prop forward pick a ball up at 100 miles an hour around his ankles and do that? That was an exceptional bit of football.
It was a good bit of football from him. It came from a little grubber kick from Adam Reynolds, but it was played at by one of the Bulldogs players who pushed his leg out. The ball hit the leg, then it just stopped in its tracks, basically. Dave Tyrrell picked it up and again changed direction, which is the key, I reckon, here. Changed direction, picked it up, just wrong-footed the fullback, scored under the sticks. It's going to be 16-14. They're still in it quite remarkably, the South Sydney Bunnies.
And biggest smiles that ever come on a football field, Mark Riddell, when a prop forward scores.
Yes, he certainly did very well with the pickup. Yeah, I think it was Josh Reynolds. He played at the ball when Adam Reynolds grub it through. Sometimes you're probably better off letting him go, because I think Brett Morris, he was ready to catch it. As we see the goal kick from Adam Reynolds, he makes no mistake about it. So, yeah, I thought he could have let it go and Brett Morris would have got it. Unfortunately, Tyrrell was there, and as Big Man said, he wrong-footed him and placed it under the post. Boys, it's what South Sydney do, don't they? They don't look pretty this afternoon. They've played pretty ordinary, but they still find themselves in this game because they refuse to give up, and they just compete all afternoon.
Yeah, that's the thing about them, and that's what good sides, or the champion sides, when they're not playing well, somehow can hang into games and know how to win them. That's the difference, isn't it, Darryl? You've played in a couple of champion sides that sometimes they look done and dusted, but when at the end of the day, the scoreboard was in their favour.
Well, they just know what they're doing, David. You know, I mean, when the times are tough, you just head down, bum up, but you've got a process. And so they're obviously brilliantly coached. He's clearly got a great idea, Michael Maguire. And they just go back into almost a robotic form. They know what they've got to do. They just don't need to make mistakes. They don't make mistakes. They're probably in front in this game. But their outside backs, unfortunately, have made a few, and it's led to Bulldogs tries.
Keary gets a pass away to George Burgess, who wants to get a buck back in amongst the forwards, and he's tackled back towards the halfway. On the low scoreboard, it's Canterbury 16, South Sydney 14, 18 to go in the game. A ball is passed out the back, and South Sydney get to within 33, 34 metres of the goal line. In centre field, it comes to Adam Reynolds. Reynolds runs to the line, then kicks, and he's kicking to try and kick the ball in the field of play. Brett Morris running back, gathers it up, gives it to Perrott, and Perrott's tackled 10 metres out from his own goal line and 10 in from touch.
That was a good kick, you know why? Because now the Bunnies are zeroing in defensively. Look at this, they're pushing him back 10 metres here.
Yeah, Brett Morris.
Yeah, you know what, they know this is a vital stage of the game. There's 18 minutes to go. They're down by 2. They've got to keep the Bulldogs down this end.
Here's a great tackle from Inglis, who charges out of the line and puts Josh Jackson saddled.
He's playing in the forwards, Inglis.
Yeah, well, Johnson's at fullback, and I think Inglis is basically... I think he's taken over the back row position of Stewart. Well, that seems to be where he's playing.
He could be playing 5'8", I don't know, because the 5'8's playing hooker. But he's all over the place, Inglis. He's been in the game in the second half.
Well, this defensive effort from South Sydney, which we've seen before, has forced Canterbury to kick well and deep inside their own half. And now Alex Johnson gets the ball, and they're going to start a set South on the halfway line, thanks to that great defensive effort. And it's like an attacking, it's like there's a call that goes out and say, this is it. And they attack with their defence, and the opposition just gets swamped in one set. And it's come off for them. And Tyrrell, the try scorer, is taking the ball back to within 32 metres of the try line. They've got a chance here, South Sydney. Keary offers it up to Clark, and Clark just puts his head down and burrows ahead. He's tackled 29 metres out from Canterbury's goalpost. They go from dummy half to Keary to Inglis. Inglis looks for a runner, and the big fella comes straight down the centre. Tim Grant, he's tackled 19 metres out. Last tackle coming up. Where's Reynolds? He's got the ball now on the right side of the field. He runs to the line, Reynolds. Reynolds is still going. He's trying to get out of the tackle. He gets a pass away. It goes to Keary. Then it's knocked on by Johnson, and Eastwood picks it up for Canterbury. 12 out from his own goalpost.
Yeah, well, he took his chances there, didn't he, Adam Reynolds? I think the kick was a better option. Well, clearly it is now, because he took the run. He just flicked it out the back. The Bulldogs picked it up, and now they've got some great momentum on the back of a great run from Josh Morris, who's had a fantastic game today.
And here he comes, the workhorse is back out there, James Graham in Guernsey 22. He'll stand out, though. He's also got his head all banged. He's up as if he's been through a war.
Well, his hair's even redder now with that blood in it.
Frank Pritchard's out there. First time we've seen him on the park, and he's tackled. He might be the key to success here. Ball goes back. He's a very fresh player out there as it's taken ahead by Tolman. And Tolman's tackle, 24 metres out from South's line. They'll come back this side, the left side, and the ball goes to Hodkinson. He puts up a kick, and coming for the ball, Reddy does well to take it. Although I'm not quite sure that initially it was his ball. I thought Alex Johnson called for it, and then Reddy just took the odds, but he took it well. He would have had a lot of egg on his face if he dropped it. Millard takes it back for South Sydney.
Well, that would have been the end of him then, I think, but there's a lack of communication there. They're in a bunch here, the Rabbitohs, as they try and get out. They had all the momentum about 5 minutes ago, but that was a good set from the Bulldogs. They got down in the area, put a kick up. Now the South Sydney Rabbitohs desperately trying to get out of their own half.
And Big Grant takes the ball back within 15 of the halfway line. Away it goes to Inglis. Inglis in the centre of the park. He's trying to do it himself. He's tackled 5 short of halfway. Last play coming up for South. They go to the right to Reynolds. Reynolds looks for the grass between the winger and the fullback. He's not going to find it. Brett Morris read it pretty well. Sprinted across field. Gathered it up on the full. Gathers the ball. And now comes back and he's going to be tackled. About 27 metres out from his own goalpost. Quarter an hour to go here on the Good Friday match at the ANZ Stadium. And on the low scoreboard, it's Canterbury 16, South Sydney 14. As these two sides battle it out here on a wet, soggy afternoon. And it's now back to within 10 of the halfway line. Ball is fed to Pritchard. Pritchard's up over the halfway line. Good boring run. He's still going. And he really did bore a hole in them. And I dare say that's what Desi Hasler wants him to do for 15 minutes. Ball played to Leisha. It comes to Graham. And Graham decides to go on his own. He's taken in a high tackle by Thomas Burgess. And he'll get up and play it about 39 metres out from the goal line. I think Dave Tyrrell was at Inglis. Inglis is underneath it all. Ball goes away. Here goes Leisha. I tell you what, I thought he was through for a moment. He gets a pass away. It comes to Pritchard. The wide pass is fed to Josh Morris. Josh Morris goes straight through. He's tackled only 10 metres out. And a good tackle from behind puts him down. 10 in from touch. Open side they go. Last tackle for the Doggies. It comes to Hodkinson. Hodkinson runs across field. Then he puts up a kick. Here comes Perrott, but it's taken on the full and taken very well by Goodwin on the full in his in-goal area. And he'll bring the ball back to the South Sydney 20, where they'll get a set of 7 tackles.
Well, that was a great take there from Bryson Goodwin. Credit where credit's due there. He was under immense pressure from Sam Perrott. It was a pretty good bomb from the halfback Hodkinson, but he was there, he took it, and now they find themselves on, tackle 1 or 2, 40 metres out from their line. What a seesawing... Well, it hasn't been a seesawing game, but I think momentum has changed very quickly. You know, I do like the look of Inglis playing in the middle of the ruck.
Well, it's amazing. South Sydney have not been in front in this game. They've trailed by 10. Getting close to half-time, and here they are trailing by 2, and they've got a great chance here to perhaps put something on the board and actually take the lead as Thomas Burgess charges downfield, and a good run from him comes to an end. 20 metres out. Ball goes away from dummy half. And going across field as Keary throws a dummy opposite up to Clark. Clark goes to the left, then to the right, then straightens up. He's tackled 9 metres out from the goal line. And South Sydney now, last tackle, Thomas Burgess. It comes then to Reynolds. Reynolds puts up a kick high in the air. McQueen coming for it, but Perrott was up there. It's a great take over there. In fact, it was Mbai who got up in front of Perrott, took it on the full and saved the day for his side, and he'll bring it back to the 20-metre line for them to have 7 tackles.
Well, Thirsty, the kick was horrible. It was a terrible kick. He didn't have any elevation in it. They never got anywhere near the ball, any of the South Sydney attackers there, and he had a clear catch at that, Mbai. That was a pitiful kick under the circumstances. From a quality player, that is a bad mistake.
I wonder whether he thought Inglis was there.
Go too.
Because Inglis is so good at the high ball. I think Inglis didn't challenge. Inglis didn't come for the ball. And I'm just wondering whether that's what he was thinking. Anyway, we won't know until you ask him. Morris is going to play the ball for Canterbury on the halfway line. Leisha out of dummy half, feeds it to Tolman, and Tolman's tackle about 39 metres out now from the South Sydney goalpost, up that northern end of the park. South Sydney defending that end in the second half. Low scoreboard, Canterbury 16, South Sydney 14. 12 to go in the game. Jackson changes direction. He hurls a pass out the back door. It's gathered up by Brett Morris, and he'll play the ball about 30 metres out from South line in the centre of the park. I reckon if they score here, Canterbury, that'll just about wrap it up. As Reynolds, and Josh Reynolds puts a grubbing kick in, and I tell you what, it went past a couple of players, and finally getting the good bounce was Johnson, and he evades the first defender, but they came down on the line, Canterbury, and Johnson was locked up safely a couple of metres out from his own goal line.
Yeah, Jason Clark, I think, was the player there. He's just trying to pick the ball up and couldn't get a handle on it. Eventually it had to be the winger Johnston who got it. This is the second tackle. They're only 10 metres out from their own line here. They've got a lot of work to do here, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. They've still got 11 minutes to go, and they're only 2 points down. Great run by Grevesmuir up the middle.
Great run as he takes the ball 30 metres out, and now Keary, who's been playing at dummy half, gets it away to Inglis, who's almost through. And if he'd got through, that would have been interesting. He had McQueen alongside him, and Inglis gets to his feet claiming that someone's interfered with him playing the ball, and the referee says, yeah, I agree with you.
Well, that's a coach.
That was a 50-50,
Absolutely, and I think it was the hooker.
Yes.
Michael Leisha, who's there, I think, yelling out a few obscenities to himself, but that is a vital penalty going here to the Bunnies. You saw Grevesmuir go forward. He played the ball quickly. It went to Inglis. He almost went straight through the middle. but there was a great tackle there from the number 11, Leisha, over the top. Well, whether he kicked it or not, I couldn't see, but here's their chance, the Bunnies, to get in front for the first time today.
And Thomas Burgess charges onto the ball after a good kick from Reynolds. Found touch only 15 metres out. They're 11 metres out. Ball goes back to the left, and here comes Grant, and Grant comes down the centre to be tackled. 2 or 3 metres out from Canterbury's line. Keary goes back to the left. Greville for the line. Can't get there. I'll tell you what, he's horribly close. He might even be held up. He is. The referee said he got there but couldn't get the ball down. And so they'll go back 10 metres out to the goal line to continue the tackle. I think that's tackle 3.
He was perilously close to getting there. If he might have been a bit taller, he might have got there. Great tackle from Josh Jackson. He's had a game today, Josh Jackson.
And Brett Morris over the top. He was about to roll over and put the ball down, and Brett Morris grabbed his arm. Now on a wraparound, it's Keary getting the ball back. Out it goes through the hands. It goes to Lowe. He had to have 2 takes at getting it. He juggled it well enough though to keep the ball, and he's only a metre out from the goal line. Long ball comes away to Reynolds, and Reynolds throws the dummy, puts a little grubber kick in. It'll go dead, in my opinion. It's gone dead. It's a grubber kick that I'm not sure anyone else from South Sydney knew it was on, because Greville was the only one chasing, and there were 5 Canterbury players, I think, that were going to win the race for the ball if it hadn't gone dead.
Well, that's exactly what his kicking game's been like all day today. Thursday's won so many games for the Bunnies with his kicking game over the last couple of years or so, but it's been off today. That by his standards, was a pretty simple kick to put in. They should have at least got a repeat set. Pressure valve released. Bulldogs now, they've got 9.5 minutes to go. They've got the ball on tackle 0. 30 metres out from their own line.
And Mark Riddell, it will be astonishing if they get out of jail here, South Sydney, because the Bulldogs, quite frankly, deserve to win the game. Well, they deserve to win it because they've been the better team for 70 minutes.
Yeah, they have been the better team for 70 minutes, but it's what we spoke about. South Sydney, they just keep competing. I thought that was the perfect time then for the South Sydney side to get some points. I thought they had all the momentum. Big man's right. It was a poor kick again from Reynolds.
There's Canterbury moving the ball to the left side of the field, and Josh Morris goes straight through for a moment. He was given a little bit of space, but then the space closed down, and he'll play the ball about 19 metres out on the goal line as the ball goes to Eastwood. Eastwood goes ahead. He gets away from one of the Burgess twins. It was Big Thomas, and he'll play the ball about 5 metres out on the goal line. Opportunity here for Canterbury to perhaps put the game to bed. They've gone the length of the field as Eastwood struggling to get up. This will be a penalty against Lowe for having a hand on the ball, and their coach killers tackle 5. You're behind by 2, 8 minutes to go in the game, and you give the opposition another set of 6 on the goal line.
I'd hook him now. That is the dumbest play I've seen. If he's stripped that on the 5th tackle, he's a Dumbo. Ben Lowe, stupid. Now they've got 6 tackles to put this game to bed. That's just ridiculous. I'll tell you something. Thomas Burgess can hardly stand up. He's exhausted. The Bulldogs should be running at him.
And I think he got a knock on the head too when he tried that tackle a moment ago as well. He reeled out of it as if something had happened, but he's out there still. Leisha has the ball. The ball comes away. It goes down to Josh Reynolds. Reynolds floats across field. He looks for a runner. He finds Mbai. Mbai is manhandled by Inglis and also Thomas Burgess in the end, and he'll get up and play it 9 metres out on the goal line. Leisha at dummy half. He fires a pass at Eastwood. Eastwood has a crack on his own. He's going to be asked to play it about 4 or 5 metres out from the South Sydney goal line. The low scoreboard reads Canterbury 16, South Sydney 14. Leisha, a long pass comes out. Oh, it's knocked on, would you believe? And South Sydney will come up with the ball. I think Clark has really played some good footy out there for his team. Got possession, 1 possession for his side, and they move it quickly to the left side. And Millard, manhandled by Brett Morris, driven back in a great tackle. He'll play it 20 out from his own goal line. Well, gee, that was a relief of pressure with a capital P when the ball was dropped there by Hodkinson.
That was a bad mistake from Hodkinson. Neither half has had a fantastic game today. Hodkinson's probably been the pick of them, but he just took his eyes off the ball. Then there was some pressure coming from the outside. I think it was Jason Clark, as you said, had a look at him and dropped the ball. Not good enough.
And here goes South Sydney. We've got news that Glenn Stewart won't be back today as the Burgess boys start to link up on that left side of the field, and this is going to be a penalty against Graham. George Burgess ran straight at Graham, and the penalty is for a tackle. They've ruled it. Is that a tackle?
Second effort. He's ruled a second effort. He got him, he tackled him, and then he rolled him over. That's what he's penalised for. Now they've got to be thinking about kicking for goal here, and I think he is. 16-14. We've got under 6.5 minutes to go.
45 metres out right in front. This is your speciality here, isn't it, Mark?
Oh, it's a little bit far for me. But they just keep hanging in there, don't they, the Rabbitohs? Just on the penalty. Another coach killer, as we've been saying, from the Bulldogs. It's going to set up a dramatic finish, isn't it? Adam Reynolds, he's known as a sharpshooter in the game. They just keep finding a way, this Bunny side.
Well, here he is, 45 metres out, bright orange boots. They really stand out on that field at the moment. And if he kicks this, we'll have 5.5 minutes left, and the game will be all tied up. So Reynolds, opportunity to level the scores up at ANZ Stadium. It's certainly going to have the distance. Has it got the strength? It's got there. It's straight over the black dot, and it's on the low scoreboard. Canterbury 16, South Sydney 16, and Adam Reynolds kicks a penalty goal from 45 minutes out. 45 metres out, 5 minutes to go.
Isn't it ironic? He could be the hero for the Bunnies, and his kicking game in general today has been below par. By his standards, it's been diabolical. But he's kicked 4 from 4. He's just nailed one of the more pressure goals you're going to kick. From 45 metres out, right in front. It was never going to miss. Now they've got the momentum, the Bunnies. It's incredible.
And Hodkinson kicks, and he's kicked it a long way downfield. Will it go? Oh, I'll tell you what, it was knocked backwards into a South Sydney player and then picked up by South. They're all appealing here that it's a knock-on, but I'm not sure. Now, they're going to rule this is a line dropout, but, gee, I thought the ball may... Well, the referees are there. It might have been an optical illusion. I thought the ball might have been... See, I thought it was knocked back from one South Sydney player. Oh, yeah, now there it is. It's knocked. I didn't realise that Burgess got a hand on it, but it has. It's been knocked back by Keary, and Thomas Burgess tried to knock it with his hand, and he actually knocked it on. And so the line dropout is an absolute beauty. It's gone 40 metres out from Canterbury's line, and Gresmill chased as though he was 10 lengths clear in the Doncaster to Morrow, and he put Big Graham down straight away, and they're running up they're back to halfway on tackle 2. Great effort from Gresmill to try and make up for the error in the in-goal area.
Absolutely it was. And you know what? Distinct lack of urgency there from the Dogs. Tackle 3 now. They're 35 metres out. This is tackle 4. They're 30s out. They're in a great position to kick the field goal.
Well, Hodkinson, he kicked a few of them last year, didn't he? Mbai kicked one for him to win last week. They're in a great position now. It's 16 all on the low scoreboard. 3.5 to go in the game. Who's got the ball? Hodkinson has a shot at field goal. It's low, but it's good. It's over the black dot, and the low scoreboard reads Canterbury 17, South Sydney 16.
I think they deserve to be in front. They don't deserve to lose this game. But you know what? There's plenty of time left here. The South Sydney side, it looks like they're going to lose the game again. It's on the back of errors from the kick-off. They stuffed it up. They couldn't control the ball. They've had a line drop out, and from that set of 6, the Bulldogs have scored. There's still time here. There's 3.5 minutes to go.
Well, the amazing thing is the kick-off, if you go back to it, it may have even gone all the way out on the full. But because they played at it inside the dead ball line, there was indecision from them, and that's what caused it. And they've been indecision a lot of their plays today. This is where Canterbury don't want to give away a penalty, because if they do, he'll kick another penalty goal and they'll put them in front. Good run here from Pritchard. They've got it 35 out on the goal line. 3 minutes to go in the game. Ball comes back to the left side of the field, and they try to make some progress back towards halfway. Low scoreboard, Canterbury 17, South Sydney 16. Inside the last 3 minutes, Clemmer takes it up over the halfway. Good tackle, and he's put down a very good tackle by Clark. Just over the halfway, there's a lot of players out there out on their feet. They come to the left to Pritchard. On it goes to Josh Morris. Morris has taken in a good tackle. 32 metres out from South line. There's a lot of blokes walking out there. And a little grubber kick from Hodkinson will find touch about 2 metres out on the goalpost. And this will be a scrum feed to South. About 10 metres out in their line, 20 into the western touchline. And, of course, they have 90 metres to go.
Yeah, they're rushing in to pack this scrum here. As we've seen stranger things, Thirsty. I mean, there's been a lot of strange things happen in rugby league. We saw a side last Monday night who were down by 7 points with about 3 minutes to go get up and win a game of football. We've still got 2.5 minutes. They've got a full set of 6 here. You know, they can get up there and snap another field goal. Who knows?
And don't forget the Harvey Norman and Bryden's Compensation Lawyers Man of the Match Award coming up shortly. That number to ring, 1300 722 873, when of course Darryl gives you the 3 names, one of which will be the man of the match, and you get to choose one in the order in which the phone's answered. 1300 722 873 for the Harvey Norman and Bryden's Compensation Lawyers Man of the Match. Now, it's Inglis who picks it up. 2 minutes to go in the game. South Sydney they've got 80 metres to go, because you reckon they won't get another chance. This will be their last set with the ball, as the ball is taken ahead by Thomas Burgess, and he's tackled about 28 metres out on the goal line. Here's Tyrrell, the man who scored the try that got them back to within a couple of points of the Canterbury lead. They go back to the centre of the park. Another good run from Grevesmule. He takes it up over the halfway line. Another run here, and I reckon we'll see them have a go at field goal. Taking it up as Tyrrell. Tyrrell's tackled 39 metres out. Now where's Reynolds? He's 45 metres out. Here's the shot at field goal. It'll go nowhere near the post. In fact, I reckon it'll run over the dead ball line. And what'll happen is Canterbury, as time has stopped at 1 minute 33 to go, will get 7 tackles back at the 20-metre line. And there's a Canterbury player down injured, I think, or is it Reynolds who's down injured?
I think it's Reynolds who took the kick. It was James Graham. They're going to have a look at this, whether James Graham has done anything to him here, but he's in agony here, Adam Reynolds, at the moment after taking the field goal attempt. James Graham called on the South Sydney people here.
Oh, he's dived at the legs. James Graham will get sent off here. That's just totally taboo. My reading of that, Mark, is you're not allowed to dive at the legs of the player. He will say he was diving to try and stop the field goal attempt, but he's collected the players.
Oh. That's terrible. He should go. You've got to protect our kickers in the game. We've got these rules that you've got to be making a tackle at the person kicking the ball. That's got to be at least a penalty to the South Sydney side. It's not good at all.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the referees do here.
Oh, it's got to be a penalty. It's got to be a penalty because... Yes, it is referred. You know, this bloke, Adam Reynolds, his career was in limbo a few years ago because of a bad knee injury. Now, they're now looking at his left knee.
James?
Is that penalty?
James?
Is that penalty?
Okay. It's dangerous contact.
Why?
The contact's on report, and because it's a field goal, the penalty's in front.
The penalty, because it was an attempted field goal, is in front of the post. Now, Mark Levy, you're a referee.
Yep.
This is a rule a lot of people don't realise. It's 10 metres out in front of the post. He'll kick the goal and South Sydney will get the points. And now, who's in the bin? Clemmer's in the bin for 10 for giving the referee a golf ball. And if James Graham doesn't shut up, he'll go too. Penalty to South.
It's a field goal. The penalty's here.
Oh my God!
James,
why would you do that?
James, you're on your last legs. Penalty there.
James Graham, as I said, he better get away, but Mark Levy, that's the rule, isn't it?
That's the rule. That's where the penalty goes for an infringement. If they're taking the field goal, well, that's where they get it 10 metres out. James Graham, I tell you what, I know he's the new captain of the Bulldogs. The way he's carrying on in this pressure cooker of a football game, he'd want to be very, very careful, otherwise they'll be reduced even more.
We're done.
Well, it won't make any difference.
I think he should be sent off now, seriously.
I think he should have been sent off for the tackle.
I think he's given him enough of a gobful there for the referee.
Yeah,
look at him now.
Mate, the decision is made. You now need to walk back. We're gone. The field goal's a penalty in front. Go back. Go back.
Tell you what, there's a few Canterbury players.
That's the rule. You need to go. Righto, Greg. Let's set up, mate.
Josh Reynolds.
Let's go, mate.
Tell you what, if he keeps going, he'll go too. There's a couple of these Canterbury players, when they hear the tape, and I'm certain they will, they may well say that some of these Canterbury players, you're going to arrest on the sidelines for abusing the referee to the extent they have. Now, who's having the shot at goal here?
It's Goodwin.
Bryson Goodwin, because Reynolds is down injured. He's hobbling in back play. So Goodwin, 10 metres out, right in front of the post. Opportunity to kick the penalty goal and put South in front for the first time today. In comes Goodwin. He kicks the goal, and the low scoreboard has South Sydney in front by one, would you believe? 18-17 with 1 minute 18 left on the clock. And what have we got there for the Bryden Compensation Lawyers man of the match?
Well, I've had to change all the three of them, man, all Bulldogs players. How are they going to lose the game? I'm about to change my tips. Give us 5 minutes. I'll give us 1 minute.
Now the short kick off and coming for the ball, taking it brilliantly. I tell you what, he mightn't have had the best of games ready, but he's come for the ball, and if he was goalkeeping in his brother's goal last night, they wouldn't have scored a goal against the Central Coast Mariners. That was a great take from Reddy. Absolutely full of guts, determination, eyes for the ball, under enormous pressure from Josh Morris, and that take may well have secured the 2 competition points for the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
This is unbelievable. What an unbelievable finish. And how often does it happen on this Good Friday? We invariably have cracking games of football, but you're going to hear a lot more about this game, not for what's happened with regards to scoring, but I think the adjudication of the referees and also the performance of some of these Bulldogs players who can't believe they're going to walk away from here with no points.
Now, South Sydney, the ball goes to Inglis. Inglis to McQueen. McQueen takes it ahead, and he just bulldozes his way downfield, 30 metres out. Now, surely, with 20-odd seconds left on the clock, the ball goes to Inglis, and Inglis puts a grubbing kick in. The ball may go dead. It's picked up by Morris, and Morris is tackled in the in-goal area. A great chase from Goodwin. Tackles Brett Morris, and they won't have time to take the line drop out. And South Sydney, I'll tell you what, Brett Morris is not 100% here. There's concern from Inglis, I think, was over there, and also concern from Bryson Goodwin when he made the tackle that Brett Morris wasn't 100%.
I think he's pulled a hamstring here. He's gone straight for his right leg here, Brett Morris. Now, this is horrible news for the Bulldogs. He's done something quite serious. There's no doubt about that. The hoot has gone. They've called it off. The referee, there's a few missiles being thrown on the field here, so this is going to get ugly. One idiot throws it, and what happens? The rest of them join in here. There's bottles of water being thrown at the officials here, and this is quite ugly. There are people all around, security around the referee, but look at the stuff.
There was a full bottle just thrown then and knocked the touch judge over. Oh, this is ridiculous. The Bulldogs fans, I tell you what, those of you that get caught on the video evidence, you should get banned for a long, long time. That is gutless, throwing full bottles at officials.
Absolutely, it's been going. There was probably about 30 or 40 of them thrown. It just takes one idiot to start it off, and that, to me, is a despicable way, deplorable way to finish what was a great second half of football. How they lost the Bulldogs, I don't know. There's my three players, but seriously, it could. This is an unbelievable last 5 minutes we've witnessed here. How South Sydney have got out of this, I don't know. They've won the game 18-17. Ridiculous.
2 tries, Isaac Luke and David Tyrrell scored the tries for the Rabbitohs. Reynolds 4 goals from 4 attempts and Goodwin 1 from 1. And for the Canterbury side, Curtis Rona, Josh Morris and Sam Perrott the try scorers. Trent Hodkinson a field goal and 2 goals from 3 attempts. Unbelievably, the Rabbitohs only hit the lead once in the game. That was with a minute to go, and they won the game 18-17. And the 3 players, if you like the ring, 1300 722 873 for the Harvey Norman and Bryden's Compensation Lawyers Man of the Match Award. The 3 players chosen by Darryl Brohman, James Graham, Greg Inglis and Brett Morris. And how you going down there, Mark? Pandemonium up here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get someone as we speak. They're being pretty guarded by their trainers, boys. I'll just try and grab someone shortly.
But those blokes throwing full bottles at the officials when they came off. One of them hit one of the touch judges on the foot, and as a result, as he tried to evade it, he slipped over on the wet metal part when he came up, and could have done himself a horrible bit of damage. But yeah, throwing things at
that's the great thing why we now have CCT video to see this stuff. They see them, give them life, mate. Yeah. Give them life.
Well, the good thing about it, Darryl, is that this ground has better CCTV coverage than any other ground probably in this country. So they'll have been caught. Don't worry. If you've thrown a bottle, fair dinkum, you'll be shown up very graphically on the police review of the match.
I can't believe what I've just seen. Not only the Canterbury fans that are carrying on like idiots, and we haven't seen crowd behaviour like this for a long, long time. I'm going to take a step further. The way the players got into the faces of these referees this afternoon, and I don't care how much pressure, how much controversy you think's in a game of rugby league, you do not swamp referees and carry on the way they did. We're going to hear more about this for a long, long time, and the supporters that threw those bottles, hitting one touch judge, and I certainly hope that he's not injured down there. It is absolutely disgraceful behaviour.
You know what it reminded me of with regards to players?
I think Mark's got Greg Inglis.
Yeah, I got down here with the New South Sydney back row. Greggy, what about playing in that front line for the team, mate?
Oh, mate, I did it for Aussies for a bit of fun, and I think the mate's took it a bit serious, and I was a bit down on truth, but in the end, you had to do what you had to do.
Mate, I was speaking to you in the game. You should probably admit you're nowhere near your best, but you've just got this belief in your side that you just keep hanging in there, and eventually it turns.
Yeah, most definitely. We definitely didn't play our best, and we know that. We haven't played our best for the last 3 weeks. And we got turned that around real quick, and we're coming against a side on Monday night in the Cowboys. You know, they got to come down here and do a job.
What about that penalty right at the end there?
Mate, yeah, don't know what to say about that.
Well done, mate. He's earned it. Well done. Good win.
You may as well hold onto it, Piggy, because I think Adam Reynolds is over there, mate. If you can have a chat to him.
Yeah, the thing I'm just about to point out, Mark, is that all the South Sydney players, the security is that worried about the Canterbury fans that are still here. They've actually asked the South Sydney players, I think, to stay on the field until they think it's safe for them to leave the field, which I think is a terrible indictment against the Canterbury fans.
Well, we haven't seen anything like this for a long, long time in rugby league. Back to you, Piggy Riddell. You've got Adam Reynolds with you.
Yeah, well, I've got both boys down here. I've got Isaac, Luke and Reno. I'll start with Isaac. How you feeling, mate, after the try?
I didn't get to see it, but no, I got told in the sheds that I managed to get over, but no, I'm just happy to be back out here.
Must be proud of what the boys have done in the second half.
Yeah, I got to watch the second half, and the boys done really well to get themselves back in, and goal kicking like this following.
I'll speak with Reno now. Reno, mate, what about that courage shown by your boys in the second half?
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's a real courage to the big boys through the middle. You know, we had boys playing out in the halves and in the centres, and you know, we're a bit short there towards the end, but you know, it's a credit to them, mate. We stuck in there and gave ourselves a chance to win it right at the depth.
Mate, just on that, obviously, James Graham diving at you. What damage have you done?
Well, I'm not too sure, mate. It's pretty short at the moment, so just get back to the dressing rooms and assess it and see how we go.
I'll keep it short, boys. Well done. Congrats on the win.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Piggy. And great to hear that those two boys are A-OK after what will go down as a controversial game of football. And I'm just looking down underneath us, the broadcast box. If you're just joining us, we've seen some idiots throwing full bottles of water, one hitting a touch judge whose legs were taken from underneath him. And these players, the South Sydney players, are out there in the middle at the moment. They've been surrounded by security because there's some idiots in front of us from Canterbury. And Raylene Castle, I have the utmost respect for you as a rugby league administrator, but your club needs to have a good hard look at itself for the way your supporters have carried on today, and in particular your players, by getting into the faces of the referees. And I just think what was a decent game of football, Darryl, in the end, is going to be overshadowed by the behaviour from these imbeciles in the crowd.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And I also think the behaviour of some of their players as well. At the end of the game there, it reminded me of the English soccer. You see someone go down in the English soccer, they come from it. Well, all the soccer, but that's what it reminded me. They were all in the face of both referees, and he was getting an absolute hammering, Jared Sutton. And you know what? That's unacceptable. I'm absolutely certain the NRL will do something with some of these Bulldogs players for the way they behaved in that last 30 seconds. Look, you can't condone what they did. I can understand they were never going to lose that game, but they lost it.
Exactly.
You got to, at the moment.
And look at this. Like, the South Sydney players have been taken to the northern end of the ground, and there's Canterbury supporters following them and jeering them, booing them, carrying on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a game of football, for God's sake. It's round 5. It's Good Friday. These supporters carrying on. I hope every single one of you gets picked up because you're sitting in the members area for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. It's an indictment on rugby league the way you people are carried on this afternoon, and I'm sure we'll hear more. 2GB.com, click onto the feedback icon. We need to clean up some dividends as these South Sydney players make their way off the field. We'll try and get a report for you on the referees who were hit by those bottles of water. But this is just ridiculous, Darryl. I can't believe it. You've been involved in rugby league more than you.
Have a look at the police. The riot squad have already got down there.
Yeah, there's probably a group of 100 Bulldog supporters there. They'll be giving it to the Bunnies players, but the police have gone down there, which is a good sign. That's just... well, it's not what we want. I mean, it's just terrible what's going on here at the moment.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what to say. I
feel sorry for the South players.
I do too.
Because they had nothing to do with it. They were given that job to kick a goal. The referee said they're the rules, and now the South players are copying it for no reason whatsoever.
All right, boys. Now, we've got to take a break for some commercial commitments in about 4 minutes' time before we launch into Sports Zone. And I'd love to hear from you supporters who are out here this afternoon on 131873. We'll open up the lines. You can talk to us as well. 2GB.com. I'll be joined by Mark Riddell up here in the commentary box, who was down on the sideline after this break for some commercial commitments. But we do need to get to the Harvey Norman and Bryden's compensation lawyers man of the match. Sam from Bella Vista chose Brett Morris. Gwen from Ryde chose Greg Inglis. And Patricia from Cronulla elected to go with James Graham. Darryl Brohman, who is your Harvey Norman and Bryden's compensation lawyers man of the match.
I've got no idea. I would have given it to James Graham, but the way he went on at the end, I can't. I'm going to give it to Greg Inglis.
All right, Greg Inglis. So congratulations to you, Gwen from Ryde. You nominated Greg Inglis, who is the continuous call team Harvey Norman and Bryden's Compensation Lawyers Man of the Match. That player's won a $200 Harvey Norman voucher, and you've won $150 from our good friends at Bryden's Compensation Lawyers. They win over 98% of cases. Stay listening for our next game for another chance to win. It's all thanks to Bryden's Compensation Lawyers and Harvey Norman. 2GB.com, you can click on the feedback icon to join us, and thankfully we can report that the South Sydney players have made their way back into the sheds, and these idiots in front of us, and it's a shame that a minority ruins it for the crowd of 40,523 here at ANZ Stadium, who, let's face it, have watched a decent game of football. Sloppy first half, Darryl, but South Sydney at the end of the day, it's an 80-minute game of football, and they're finished in front of
Well,
the
there's plenty of talking points. I mean, the Bulldogs supporters will think they've been dudded here today, and they may well have been. I'm not sure. But by their own reaction, an 8-point try they conceded in the last, 30 seconds of the first half, conceded a penalty goal in the last 30 seconds of the second half, and they've lost by a point. At the end of the day, it's their own fault. I think the referees in general got it right. I know there was a lot of arguments there from James Graham at various times, but I think the Bulldogs seriously have to consider whether James Graham is the right bloke to be leading that club out on the field. I think he's a great leader by his actions, but given his actions verbally today, I don't think he can be captain of the Bulldogs anymore.
You can throw into the mix Dave Clemmer, who got into the face of Bernard Sutton, who was sent for 10. You can throw into the mix Josh Reynolds, who apparently has been having all this counselling sessions to calm himself down on the football field. I honestly, Darryl, am sitting here disappointed in what I've just seen this afternoon.
I think anyone who's a rugby league supporter is disappointed in it, and the Bulldog supporters will be going home saying, nah, it wasn't our fault, they decisions, all this sort of stuff. Well, at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own actions, and what James Graham was doing at the end of the game was completely unacceptable, as were probably 3 or 4 of his teammates.
Good on you, Darryl. We've got 60 seconds, mate. I'll catch you tomorrow on with Ray and Bob and Brett Finch.
Looking forward to it. See you, mate.
Thank you, Darryl. David Morrow, job well done, mate, and plenty to talk about out of this game, that's for sure.
Plenty to talk about, and as I said, the police will be reviewing all of the the closed-circuit televisions to work out who threw the bottles, and of course the NRL will be having a major investigation into that, and the Canterbury Club, and the disgraceful way some of those players spoke to the referee. I don't think we've heard the end of that yet either.
You know what we might do? We might even put a phone call into Todd Greenberg, the head of football for the NRL, and see if we can catch up with him on Sports Zone. No doubt he's probably downstairs, if he is at the ground, having a look at that CCTV footage with Raylene Castle, the chief executive of the Bulldogs, and she's a very, very good rugby league administrator, and there's no doubt in my mind that she'll handle this one to the T. So 18 points to 17, a controversial Good Friday game here at ANZ Stadium. South Sydney over the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. The footy tab dividend $454.50. $454.50. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll launch into Sports Zone on 2GB and network stations.
Safe driving tips with David Berthon, thanks to Holden's lifetime cap price servicing on every Holden ever built. And it's here for good.
Many older drivers unknowingly suffer from night blindness. As you get older, your night vision deteriorates. Another reason to leave in the early daylight hours when you're fresh and your energy levels are up after a hearty breakfast. After a day on the computer, driving long distances into the night is a recipe for disaster. It's telling on eye strain, and if you're older, your vision is really stretched. Also, pull the sun visor down to the horizon and reduce as much glare as possible.
Every Holden vehicle comes with capped price servicing. Not just for 5, 10 or even 20 years, but for life. And not just every new model, every Holden ever built, making it Australia's biggest cap price servicing program. This means great value and no surprises on your servicing costs. Visit Holden.com for a quote. It's Holden's lifetime cap price servicing. Holden, let's go there. Subject to lifetime cap price service terms and conditions. See Holden.com for details and to obtain a quote.
Today's NRL Game Changer. Brought to you by CrownBet. With CrownBet's NRL head-to-head multi, you can stay in the game longer. Place a 4+ leg head-to-head multi, and if one of your selections doesn't win, you'll receive a matched bonus bet up to $50. Join today at crownbet.com.au. The game just changed.
Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
Sanity, proud sponsor of the Ray Hadley Morning Show. For the latest CDs and DVDs, shop in store or online at sanity.com.au. Sanity, great service, great value.
The Daily Telegraph's Nissan NRL Supercoach is back, and Anthony Minicello and Terry Biviano will be there with you every round.
It's easy to register, easy to play.
And there's even bigger prizes.
Register today at dailytelegraph.com.au/Supercoach. Terms and conditions apply.
The continuous call team is thanks to the new Holden Colorado 7. Get up and tow. Sports Zone. Sports Zone.
This will be a try. 85 metres, a most remarkable try.
Sports Zone with Mark Levy.
Oh, yes. Redemption is complete.
Sports Zone.
It is Daniel Ricciardo that comes home to take the victory.
Setting you up for a big weekend of sport.
And Kale go for the spectacular. What about that?
Look out, sports fans. News, reviews and previews. Sports Zone, thanks to Bingley. Head to Bingley for a great deal on a great range of products.
Don't touch the sets, don't touch the dolls, don't you go anywhere.
And now, right across Australia, it's time for Sports Zone.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome along to the show from ANZ Stadium, where we've seen a controversial afternoon of rugby league unfold in front of us. South Sydney have eventually won the game 18 points to 17 over Canterbury in front of a crowd of over 40,000. But the behaviour from both the Canterbury Bulldogs players, the Canterbury Bulldogs fans, will be talked about, I think, for a long, long time to come, because there was full bottles of water pelted at the referees as they made their way up the tunnel, one hitting a touch judge whose legs were taken from underneath him, and he fell onto his backside. We're trying to find out if he's A-OK. And then we had the supporters follow South Sydney along the railing, basically, as they made their way towards the northern end of the ground, where security was ushering them into the dressing sheds. And I just cannot believe what I've seen this afternoon, in all honesty. I mean, it's rugby league, it's a game of football, and it's sport. And the carry-on from some people involved in rugby league today has just been absolutely disgraceful. 131873, you can give us a call if you're making your way home this afternoon. We were going to catch up with the Swans coach, John Longmire, and a few other things over the next 40 minutes. But what we might do is focus our attention on what we have just witnessed here on Good Friday at ANZ Stadium. 131873 is the number. You can email us at 2gb.com.
And now on Sports Zone, talking rugby league, thanks to Tri4 Sports, your winter sports specialty store.
Yeah, and I'm joined in the commentary box by Mark Piggy Riddell after South Sydney 18 beat Canterbury 17. Piggy, you were down on the touchline as that all unfolded. Up here, Darryl, David Morrow and myself, we were just shaking our heads. It was like watching something from overseas. What's your reaction now that you've had a chance to look back at what happened?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I was obviously down on the sideline for the game. I'd made my way onto the middle of the field for the full-time siren, after the full-time siren, and once it started, I just turned around and looked back. Look, I wouldn't say I was scared or anything like that, but I just started pegging blokes that were throwing these bottles, and it was just ridiculous. It was just unbelievable. I was just talking out the back with Thirsty, and it reminded you of that night at Lang Park, I think it was, when Mick Stone, the referee back then. But it was just, it's a game of footy. You said it yourself. Exactly. I heard you say it. It was ridiculous. And then for all those fans to follow the South Sydney side off the field, we had the riot police. Like, is that the look we want for our game?
No, not at all.
It's disgusting. And you know what? I was just thinking about it then. The way that some of those Bulldogs players behaved when the penalty was given to South Sydney in front of them has probably spurned on the fans to go and carry on the way that they have.
James Graham is supposed to be the captain of the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. The way he carried on, he should have found himself up the tunnel straight away. Yeah. Bernard Sutton, to his credit, was very lenient because he was the captain and he was giving him ample opportunities to calm down. The way James Graham carried on, he should have been sent straight away.
Yeah, I thought he should have been sent right at the end there, just with the way he was carrying on. Look, I guarantee you, I am a James Graham fan. I've got so much time for him. I spent time with him, playing against him in England. Socially, I've had a... I've met up with him a couple of times. He's a great fella, a great game, but he just lost his cool, and I don't think it was just then. He lost it throughout that game in periods, and I personally, I've got no problem with what happened. I was making my way back upstairs, and the Bulldogs staff thought they'd been hard done by for that penalty, and I couldn't understand it myself. I just thought that was an out-and-out challenge at the legs of Reynolds and a penalty.
And there's emails coming through at 2gb.com. You can give us a ring on 131873 saying why was the penalty given in front. How it works is you're given the penalty by the referees and by the letter of the law. You are given the penalty where the ball bounces. Now the ball bounced in the in-goal area. Therefore, where the penalty is awarded is 10 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, I've got no problem. I agree. And you know, again, I'll go back to how the players reacted to it. And James Graham, the captain, is what would have spurred on the fans after the game.
All right, well, 131873, 2gb.com. We might bring in David Morrow, who's hanging around for the next 55 minutes, I think, because he wants to lift home with Tony, our tech. But, David, stick with us, mate.
I said I'd stay here, so I'll keep you company.
Oh, you're a lovely man. We'll talk to a few of our listeners via 2gb.com. Click onto the feedback icon and give us a ring on 131873. Line 3 is first. Michael's called through at Kellyville. Hi, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Yeah, hello, guys. How are you?
Oh, it's hello, mate. I'm very well, mate.
Good. Look, I watched the game on TV. I'll be up front. I'm a South Sydney supporter. But the way the Canterbury players carried on the field totally reflects the behaviour of their fans. Now, James Graham should have been sent to the sin bin after the 8-point try by carrying on like a pork chop. You just can't do that. And
especially when you're the captain of a football side, Michael. That's the main point to make.
That's right. When at the end of the game, this is why they don't let soccer players take their shirt off to incite the crowd. You can't carry on like that on a football field and not think that it doesn't affect the crowd.
Yep, you're 100% right, Michael. There's a stack of people that want to have their say, so we'll try and get to as many as we can, and we'll hear from David Riccio a little bit later on. We put in calls to the NRL to try and speak to Todd Greenberg, the head of football. We're told that he's reviewing what's happened today and talking to the ground officials, and we've also tried putting in calls to Raylene Castle, who's the boss of the Bulldogs, and no doubt she's got a few people to talk to, namely the coach and the security staff, but if we get any news, we'll let you know. And the boys back in the studio telling us that apparently the touch judge isn't seriously hurt. That was hit by that full bottle of water. Gavin Morris was the man who fell to his backside after being hit by a bottle of water. So that's some good news that he is A-OK. Good on you, Michael. Thanks for the call, mate. 131873, the number. Line 1, Dave's phone through at Heathcote. G'day, Dave.
Hello, how you going?
Very well, mate.
Sure, you know, I just watched it on TV as well. Obviously a South supporter, but having an 8 and 10-year-old, what's that? It was quite disgraceful watching the way Graham carried on, you know. It's not something you want to see the kids sort of watch on TV, you know, looking up to these guys.
Well, that's the thing, Dave, and Mark Riddell, you played the game, and how important was to you being drummed into you as a footballer? You are out there not only representing our club, but you're a role model for the people that look up to you guys playing rugby league.
Yeah, look, and I can understand the frustration from him as a player, but they just went on with it. They went on with it, and they went on with it, and the referees gave him numerous times to just settle down, and they kept going and going and going. And yeah, I just thought it was a really poor look for the game from the players, and then obviously from the fans. It's just been a real disappointing end, really, to what was probably, you know, a decent footy match.
And I think, Dave, the point to make to your kids at home is that, you know, this is just an isolated incident, and no doubt Rugby League, the hierarchy at Rugby League Central and the Bulldogs officials will come down hard on those people responsible. And as you say, mate, it doesn't set a very good example for the young people watching on at home and the people that were sitting in the areas throwing those bottles, the young kids involved there, mate. Thanks for the call. We've got to keep moving. 131873, the number, 2gb.com. Line 4, Steve is next in Cronulla. Hi, Steve.
Hello, how are we going, guys?
I'm very well, mate.
Yeah, look, I'm independent to this. I watched it, and you guys have been focusing on about a group of, 80 to 100 people, I think you said, that carried on like idiots from 40,500. At the end of the day, we've lost the focus on some of the poor decisions the referees made, and I think that's incited some of the things that have happened in the game.
Yeah.
And even look at the 78th or 79th minute when Josh Morris comes through to catch the ball, he's pushed purposely in the back and nothing's said. There's 4 people on the ground that can adjudicate on it and nothing's said. So, look, if they're really serious about upholding the rules, I mean, they wouldn't... Look, we can't lose the focus. They had a poor game, the referees. I'm sorry.
Well, Steve, the one thing I'll say to that, mate, is that, you know, that they're human. They make mistakes, and whether or not you thought some of the decisions were right or wrong, I think us up here in the box, with what unfolded, it doesn't matter whether it's a right or wrong call. The carry-on from the players and the spectators is what we're going to talk about, and that shouldn't be what is talked about. It should have been a wonderful second half of football between two very good footy teams.
But I don't think the referees had any involvement in changing the way that game was.
I don't think so either.
The penalty, there was clearly a penalty on attacking Reynolds' legs, and it was clearly, well, we thought if it wasn't going to be an 8-point try, we did contemplate a penalty try, but because he got the ball on the line, they were saved that decision. So I must admit, I didn't see Morris get pushed. I was watching Reddy climb above them all to take the ball. So I'll keep out of that because I didn't see it, but I did see what I thought was a great take from Joel Reddy.
Yeah.
So
good on you, Steve. Thanks for the call, mate. Todd Greenberg's going to join us in about 10 or 15 minutes. He is having a look at some security footage, talking with the Bulldogs officials and South Sydney officials downstairs. So you stick with 2GB network stations, the continuous call team. We're into Sports Zone now, but we will get a full report from the head of football for the NRL, Todd Greenberg, who will join us in about 10 or 15 minutes' time. Bill from Bendigo writes, "G'day, Mark. What a disgusting display. I was raised in Scotland but didn't follow soccer for the reasons we just saw today. The only solution is to punish the club and make them responsible for fan behaviour. It's the only solution. As for the players blowing up, again, fine the club for player behaviour. Imagine how terrifying that was for children on this family $50 day." Well, you're 100% right, Bill. And, mate, as a bloke who once refereed junior footy and junior rugby league, we're all about trying to get people into rugby league and encourage people to pick up the whistle and get involved, because without the men and women who officiate this game of rugby league, we don't have a game. And for the players to get into the face of the referees out there, and they were Gerard Sutton, Gavin Morris, Grant Atkins and Nick Beashall, very, very ordinary performance. Good on you, Bill. Thanks for the call, mate. We need to check some news up. The headlines very shortly. Line 5 we go. Vera at Glenfield. Hi, Vera.
Yeah, hi. Look, I'm really disgusted with the way yous are carrying on over the top.
In what way, Vera?
Now, look, these poor guys played the ref. The second half, they didn't play South, they played the ref. This is disgusting. I watched it on Channel 9, most of it.
Vera, before you continue, are you going to sit here and tell me that it's okay to throw full bottles of water at officials and abuse them?
I don't agree with the fans, but I don't agree the way the refs were handling this match the second half. All right, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. It was one-sided, full-on one-sided second half.
Vera, do you have any kids?
Yes, I have, grown-ups.
Vera, if your kids were watching that game of football... Vera, you've had your say. Let me have my say, please, Vera. All right, Vera, we'll leave it there. It's Mark Levy in Sports Zone, not Vera in Sports Zone. Thanks for the call. 131873 2GB.com. Line 6, Kevin at Turkley. G'day, Kev.
G'day, boys. How you going?
Very well, champion.
Yeah, I just feel like myself, like people pay top money to go out and watch a fair game of rugby league, and I feel like Ray Warren and Peter Sterling said that was definitely not a penalty, and I feel like the referees seem to be controlling the game at the moment, and they're making very poor decisions. I'm not saying it's great what they done after the game, but people are going to lose faith in the game if the referees keep on, buggering up the bloody results. That was definitely not a penalty.
Which one?
And that decided the whole game. And people pay top money to go out and watch these games.
Kevin, which didn't you think was a penalty? The attack at the legs of Adam Reynolds?
Yeah, it wasn't. Ray Warren and Peter Sterling said no way in the world. He went for the ball, and he did go for the ball. There's no way that was a penalty.
He may have went for the ball, but the fact is that he dived in at his legs. Now, that puts the kicker in a dangerous position and puts the...
No, I don't agree with that. He went for the ball.
Well, they're the rules. At the end of the day, they're the rules, and I think the referee got that 100% right, and I'll disagree with him.
I don't think you're allowed to dive at the legs of the kicker. It's clearly in the rules these days.
You're 100% right. We'll leave it there, Kev. We've got to keep moving, mate. It's a full board of calls in front of us. We'll check some news headlines in a moment with, I think, Alice Hogg in the Macquarie National Newsroom. Cameron on line 7 is next. G'day, Cam.
Yeah, g'day. How you going?
Very well, mate.
Yeah, good call today. Thanks for that.
Thanks, bud.
I was actually out of the game. I left about 10 minutes to go. I'm a staunch dog supporter. I don't agree with the crap that went on afterwards. That was disgusting. And the call at the end, well, if it's in the rules, it's in the rules. But the calls that were made during the game, they were disgusting. There was 3 tackles during a 5-tackle stint that were head high against the Dogs that were not called.
There was the offside. That James Graham got, didn't he?
Yeah, and there was the offside also when we caught the ball in the in-goal area, and then they took it out, took the tap. Every single South player was offside. Not a single one of them were called. It just goes to show that what everyone keeps saying about the last few years, that South have had the run of the play.
Well, you know what, Cameron? I mean, if we had an open line program like this where we just focused on football after a game of rugby league and, we spoke for 45, 55 minutes about a game of footy, you're going to have supporters ring up and they're going to say, oh, the referees did this, the referees did that. It's a game of sport and, it was a great second half. Yes, the last decision may have been controversial, but it's sport. It's a game of football, mate. It's not life and death. I know some poor supporters feel it's that way. And yes, Canterbury were the better team for the majority of the match, but it's an 80-minute game of football. And whoever's in front when that siren sounds, and it was South Sydney, that's life.
The right call was made at the end. It was just the calls during the game were disgusting.
All right, Cameron, good on you, mate. Thanks for the call, bud. 131873, the number. You can email us at 2gb.com.
Macquarie National News.
And a reminder, we'll hear from Todd Greenberg, the head of football for the NRL, in about 10 minutes' time. In the meantime, Alice Hogg's updating all the news for us. Alice, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mark. The NRL Grand Final replay between South Sydney and Canterbury's been marred by poor behaviour from fans who threw projectiles onto the field at officials after the Rabbitohs' 18-17 win at ANZ Stadium. The death of a toddler in central West New South Wales is being treated as suspicious after an autopsy examination. More than 1,100 people have been caught speeding so far this Easter long weekend, 200 higher than this time last year. And an American man missing at sea for more than 2 months has been picked up by a passing ship and airlifted to Virginia. In sport, as we've heard, a Bryson Goodwin penalty goals handed South Sydney an 18-17 win over Canterbury. Sydney's weather: showers tonight, rain tomorrow, tops of 20 degrees. Right now in town it's 18 degrees. And Mark, I'll have more news in about 27 minutes.
2GB traffic thanks to Airport Link, Sydney's airport train. Visit airportlink.com.au.
And crews are returning a car fire. Couple on highways, southbound lanes 1 and 2, lane 3 open for you southbound past Bruce Street, south of Marylands Road. Olympic Park busy around the precinct with the crowds leaving the Easter show and the football. I'm seeing the M1 travelling well up towards the Central Coast and North Coast. No problems. The M2, M4 looking good through Olympic Park. Bit wet though up towards Emu Plains. The M5, no problems through the tunnels. I'm Jeff Wallace on Sydney's traffic leader, 2GB 873.
Have a DIY project at your place? Drop into Mighty Helpful Mitre 10 for the right gear, right advice, all at the right price. That's Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
In the past year, hundreds of 50 Up Club members have switched their life insurance through the club. Some, like Andrew from Castle Hill, saved over $5,000 a year. Why? Because they're entitled to a significant discount on fully underwritten life cover from 135-year-old provider Noble Oak. In fact, the premiums are on average 31% lower than a dozen other major insurers surveyed in an independent analysis. Plus, there are still great offers at 50upclub.com on health insurance, electricity and solar panels. 50upclub.com is free to join, and almost 110,000 members. Can't be wrong.
General advice provided by 50 Up Club Proprietary Limited does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation or needs. Consider whether the advice is right for you and read the Financial Services Guide and PDS at 50upclub.com.
Celebrate your local club's contribution to your community. Vote for them now in the People's Choice Awards. It's your chance to win a $10,000 luxury holiday and give a $10,000 donation to your chosen charity, thanks to Clubs New South Wales and Community First Credit Union. It's win-win and give. Great communities are built on giving. That's why local clubs are not-for-profit and aim to donate over $100 million to charitable groups in 2015. Vote to enter now at yourlocalclub.com.au.
For your chance to win a BMW, enter the Star's Ultimate 4 BMW giveaway. There's one BMW to be won at 8 every Sunday night from April 12 to May 3. Start to earn your entries now. Entry is exclusive to Red and Red Plus Absolute Rewards members. Be at the draw and play on the day for your chance to win. If you're not a member, don't worry, it's quick and free to join. The Star's Ultimate 4 BMW giveaway. Enter now in time for the first BMW draw on April 12. For over 18s only, bet with your head, not over it. Terms and conditions apply. See a casino host for details. So if you'd like to win that BMW, make sure you enter the Star's Ultimate 4 BMW giveaway. They start April 12 right through to May 3. Start to earn your entries now. If you're not a member already, join right now.
ANZ
ANZ is pledging to lend $2 billion to new small businesses, which could be very handy for a new handyman business. A tasty chance to get into the frozen yogurt trade or open up some opportunities for a locksmith. So, whether you need $20,000, $200,000 or more, search ANZ Lending Pledge to find your local ANZ small business specialist. The ANZ $2 billion Lending Pledge. Big support for new small businesses. All applications for credit are subject to ANZ's credit assessment criteria.
You're listening to Sports Zone on 2GB. Thanks to The Fiddler. Take a fresh look at The Fiddler, Rouse Hill. Go to thefiddler.com.au.
Great to have your company from ANZ Stadium. Mark Levy, Mark Piggy, Riddell and David Morrow. 18-17 South Sydney over Canterbury in front of a crowd of over 40,000. Frank writes at 5 Doc. Hi Mark and team. Great call as always. What planet is Vera from? Honestly, I couldn't believe what I just heard. I'm sick and tired of the lack of respect lately in the damn game. Come on, throwing full bottles of water around. What the hell have we come to? Yeah, I sound angry, but I am. I can't stand this continual absolute BS ruining the game I love. Good on you, Frank. Thanks for the call, mate. Line 4 we go. Andrew's there for us. G'day, Andrew.
Yeah, how you going, boys?
Very well, mate.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, my brother was one of the interchange officials there today, and he's actually slipped dodging bottles walking off the field, and he's actually on his way to Westmead Hospital in an ambulance at the moment with a broken shoulder.
Oh, no.
He's one of the concussion. I think he's
one of the I saw him go over too, yeah. Cause,
yeah, he was dodging bottles and he slipped on a piece of white plastic, and he's in an ambulance at the moment on the way to Westmead Hospital.
Andrew, don't give me his full name, mate. What's his first name?
Darren.
Darren. All right. Well, mate, that's a disgrace.
Yeah, his wife is just absolutely livid. I mean, the poor bugger's just spent 6 months training for an Ironman in a couple of weeks' time. And you still there? Yeah, he's just spent 6 months training for an Ironman and a few weeks up at Port Macquarie, and now this has happened. It's just, absolutely.
Andrew, do you mind if we get your details off air, mate, and just keep in contact with you, and you can let us know how Darren's doing? I'm sure Ray and the rest of the gang would love to know tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem.
Good on you, Andrew, and please pass on our regards to Darren as he makes his way to the hospital.
Well, you know, Mark could tell you just how slippery is that surface you sit on down there.
Yeah, it is very slippery, the white plastic flooring they got down there, because it's a lot easier to walk on the artificial grass there that's there, and so it is very slippery. But when I was making my way back up here, they were talking about an NRL official who had a broken shoulder.
I saw.
So it's confirmed that.
I saw one go, and then I saw the other fellow. I saw a couple of them go head over Turkey. It was.
Well, I hope the Canterbury fans who threw those bottles are listening to us on the way home, however they make their way home, preferably in the back of a police paddy wagon, because as an NRL interchange official, he wasn't even involved in the game, for God's sake. He's going to the hospital with a broken shoulder. Fair dinkum. What have we come to? 131873, the number, 2gb.com. Line 3, Angelo at Carlton. Hi, Angelo.
G'day, guys. Just wanted to talk about Canterbury's performance today. If the NRL are serious about, what happened today, they should be fined $500,000 and have premiership points deducted, because this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of behaviour at Canterbury games.
Well, Angelo, you stick with us, mate, because we're going to catch up with Todd Greenberg, hopefully, before we have to wrap things up tonight, and I'm sure it'll dominate open line talk back throughout the night, mate, but thank you for the call, and I tend to agree with you. They're going to be slapped with a pretty hefty fine.
The sad thing is, as one of the listeners pointed out, it's probably 100 people, if that, who are involved in all this, and we had 40,500 people here.
It's always the minority, Dave.
I know. It's just so sad that so many people came here, and irrespective of whether it's South or Canterbury game, it wasn't the greatest standard, but it was a great spectacle, it was a great contest, and it was, it was edge of the seat stuff from start to finish.
Correct. What I picked up from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, these seats here where I can guarantee you the bottles were coming from
Bulldogs members.
They're all members'
Correct.
seats. So surely the club will have details of all these members and everything like that, because when I turned around and watched it all unfold, there were bottles coming from these bays right in front of us on either side of the tunnel.
See the little C on your jacket for the continuous call team, the little C? I can guarantee you, because I've seen the setup here at ANZ Stadium, and you touched on it, Thirsty, the cameras, the CCTV vision, can zoom in that close, it'll be a full-screen C.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll get them, and don't you worry about that. They'll find them, they'll get them, and hopefully, as far as poor old Darren, who's been hit with a bottle and broken his shoulder, we'll obviously hear a little bit more. 131873, the number, 2GB.com.
Compensating for all that training he's done for the
exactly
triathlon,
right.
does it?
It's very serious. I know we like to usually have a bit of fun on this show and the continuous call team, but understandably, plenty of people want to have their say, and no doubt Ray and the boys will talk more about it from midday tomorrow. South Sydney 18, Canterbury 17. We'll take a break and come back with more.
2GB traffic, thanks to Airport Link, Sydney's airport train. Visit airportlink.com.au.
The car fire has only one lane open for southbound Cumberland Highway, just past Marylands Road at Marylands West, and Olympic Park, busy around the precinct with people leaving the football and the Easter show. Lane Cove Tunnel on camera, broken down van. He's westbound, about halfway through in lane 1. No problems the M1. The whole day traffic has eased out through the Central Coast and around Newcastle. New England Highway travelling well. Down south, the M1 and the Princess Highway looking good in towards Berry. Earlier delays have eased. I'm Jeff Wallace on Sydney's traffic leader, 2GB 873.
ShowLink tickets include return transport to the Easter show, but you can't get them at train stations or on buses. Buy ShowLink tickets online at eastershow.com.au.
When your team's playing, you don't want to miss a minute of the action, and with Valori Cellars, you don't have to. This Easter long weekend, Valori Cellars has Johnny Walker Red and Jim Beam 700ml, just $29.99 each, plus Stella Artois and Beck Stubby cases, $39.99 each. Great specials for this Easter long weekend only, so hurry into a Valori Cellars superstore near you. You'll find location details on the website or order online at valoricellars.com.au. Value, variety and vintage, that's Valori, V-A-L-O-R-E, valoricellars.com.au. Johnny Walker Red and Jim Beam 700ml, just $29.99 each, and Stella Artois and Beck Stubby cases, $39.99 each. You won't find that any better anywhere, so go to valoricellars.com.au or in-store for all of the details.
G'day, Big Man here with Madeline from Tynan Motors. Maddie, I love my cars and I love big savings.
Well, Big Man, Tynan Motors, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Alfa and Fiat offer big savings every day.
Where can we find these big savings?
That's easy. Head to Tynan Motors, 1 Kiora Road, Miranda.
Big names, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Alfa and Fiat, and big savings. You've got to love Tynan Motors. Check them out soon, 1 Kiora Road, Miranda, or phone 8545 8888.
Hi, it's Jamie from Flower Power. I'm at the Growing Nursery. Let me tell you, after such a warm summer, it looks like the Amazon out here. Hear that? A rare Amazon bird. But with all these lush, beautiful plants, we're running out of room. We've got to do something. So, all plants at Flower Power are 20 to 50% off. I've never seen so many stunning plants at such amazing value. Get into Flower Power while it's on. All our plants, 20 to 50% off. At Flower Power, we grow everything except prices.
Well, you've no doubt heard many 2GB listeners talking about how much they love their Spinal Ease pillow. As they always say, thank Mo. He's the Aussie chiropractor who invented the Spinal Ease pillow. I like to call him Mo the Magician. If you haven't bought one yet, maybe now is the time, because these pillows really can have a big impact on your life. Each Spinal Ease pillow is handmade to order right here in Sydney. The pillow is made from a lightweight elastic memory material with a corrugated surface, so it cradles your neck and allows air to flow freely, and it can provide relief from headaches, back, neck and joint pain, snoring and poor sleep. And you get all these benefits for around the same price you'd expect to pay for any good quality pillow. To order, phone 1300 886 345 or visit spinalease.com.au. That's spinaleze.com.au.
You're listening to Sports Zone on 2GB. Thanks to The Fiddler. Take a fresh look at The Fiddler, Rouse Hill. Go to thefiddler.com.au.
And welcome back, Mark Levy here at ANZ Stadium. Obviously, we're not talking about all the different sports because it has been a controversial afternoon here at ANZ Stadium where South Sydney 18 beat Canterbury 17. Player behaviour, spectator behaviour is going to be something spoken about throughout the weekend, the Easter long weekend. Des Hasler at his press conference has apologised on behalf of the club for the unacceptable behaviour, and Raylene Castle, the Chief Executive, a very good rugby league administrator in her own right, has also said the behaviour was unacceptable and she plans to find the culprits. The chairman of the continuous call team, 2GB's Ray Hadley's on the line. He's in the Gold Coast because he's calling that second game between the Titans and the Broncos for Channel 9. He's on the line. G'day, Ray.
Outrageous. I thought we got rid of this sort of thuggery in rugby league that was on display this afternoon at ANZ. And the only way to deal with these Pelicans is light ban. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it's got to go. I believe that there's stuff on social media back up here that an interchange official has a serious injury that requires hospitalisation from being pelted with something. It's good that Des has apologised. He's got not much to apologise for. He didn't do it. The thugs, and it's in a minority, but minority of thugs who support Canterbury need to be got out of the club and out of the game. We can't. I mean, I don't want to ever see the game degenerate into something that we saw back in the 80s and 90s in British soccer, in English soccer, and that's where we're headed unless the NRL come down in concert with Canterbury, who addressed this before when Todd Greenberg was there, violence among their fans, and had it just about sorted, but it reared its ugly head today. It's unpalatable when your team gets beaten in dramatic circumstances like that, but there's no room in sport, even allowing for decisions that, you're not happy with, to attack players, attack officials. There were kids on the ground, there were cheerleaders on the ground, a whole range of people that have nothing to do with decisions made out there that were targeted, and it's an absolute outrage and a disgrace, and the NRL need to say something strongly tonight about it, and I'm sure Todd Greenberg will, and then the Canterbury Club need to, in concert with the NRL, get the people rounded up and get them expelled from the game on a full-time basis. We don't need them at football.
And Ray, we're going to have a chat to Todd Greenberg in a minute, so I'm sure you'll be interested to hear what he's got to say, but I haven't seen the volume of calls and emails on this topic for a long, long time, and one of our earlier listeners phoned through and said that Darren, a relative of his, was the interchange official, can you believe it, who's now being taken to Westmead Hospital with that broken shoulder. It's just, we can't believe it. I've got Thirsty alongside me and Mark Riddell, and we're just all shaking our heads with what we've seen.
Well, Thirsty, you've been doing this for as long as I have, and we thought we got rid of this sort of behaviour out of the game, but from what I've seen on TV up here, it's back with us, and we need to stamp it out within the next 48 hours.
Well, and you and I, we visited some of those places in England that had some of those riots, and in fact they made them all seat stadiums to stop a lot of this behaviour and what went on. But they will find them, and they will be barred. I'm certain of that. It was just unbelievable, and then in the end, Ray, that the fact that the officials, the security officials, were that worried that they asked the South Sydney players to stay on the field until they thought it was safe for them to leave the field.
That's not Australia. That's another part of the world I don't understand, David.
Yeah, well, I was disgusted by it, and and there's no way you can have anything but absolute, you just think, why do they do it? I called it gutless, and that's what it is. Throwing full bottles at people who can't defend themselves.
Cowardly.
Very, very cowardly.
Hey, Ray, we'll hear you on Channel 9 tonight for that second game between Gold Coast and Brisbane.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get to the game. I've given the keys to Brad Fittler, the world's greatest prankster. While I'm talking to you, he's pointing, he's doing like an Italian policeman, right here, left here. We're at Pacific Fair at the moment, and God only knows when we'll get out to the Gold Coast home ground. But he on a lighter note, when we arrived at the airport, I didn't know he was on the same flight as me, so I was checking my phone for messages. You know how footballers love to flick you in the back of the leg when you're not expecting it?
Yes.
So he did that. The lady looked up at him and he said, I keep him young by doing things like that, So then he accused me of driving like Miss Daisy and demanded that he drive. And I said, no, you sound like my children, who are about the same age, I think, by the way. I said, you're not driving, I'm driving. But given that I had to do the interview, I threw him the keys, and he was like a very excited young man. He thought that he'd been rewarded for something he'd done, when in fact it was I had to do a radio interview, so he's driving. My life's in his hands.
Good on you, Ray. We'll hear you tonight.
There, boys.
Ray Hadley, the chairman of the continuous call team, on air tomorrow from midday. Quick break, back with Todd Greenberg, the head of football for the NRL.
2GB traffic, thanks to Airport Link, Sydney's airport train. Visit airportlink.com.au.
Maryland's West early car fire now in lane 1 for your southbound. It's closed past Maryland's Road. Lane 2 and 3 now open. And Olympic Park still very busy with crowds leaving the Easter show and the football. Lane Cove Tunnel, they've cleared a breakdown westbound to lane 1, about halfway through. No problems at Lane Cove Tunnel. The M2's looking good up towards Penny Hills Road. And the Hume Highway looking good through Campbelltown. No problems the M1 up towards North Coast and the Central Coast. I'm Jeff Wallace on Sydney's traffic leader, 2GB 873.
The Kathmandu Easter sale is now on, with massive savings of up to 50% off rainwear, fleece, packs and bags, and much more. Live the dream. Kathmandu.
You have a nice backyard, but what would it take to make it stunning? The answer is Yardware, an Australian company specialising in the design and creation of exquisite and unique outdoor furniture. From fountains and water features, tasteful statues and engaging wall art, functional tables, chairs, benches and consoles, urns, planters and more. Yardware will customise to suit you. Be the envy of your friends with Yardware, O'Reardon Street, Alexandria, or visit yardware.com.au.
Well, there's almost no sport Triforce Sports hasn't heard of. Whatever your sport, they have your gear. Whether you play rugby union, cricket, soccer, netball, basketball, rugby league or into running, Tri4 Sports Bella Vista and Gordon is the place. All the top brand names in sports gear from Wilson, Canterbury, Adidas, Puma, Gilbert, New Balance and Pro Connects to Speedo, York Fitness, Sherrin, Eastern Head, Skins, Yonex, X-Blades and a whole lot more. Tri4 Sports 24 Lexington Drive, Bella Vista and 838 Pacific Highway, Gordon. Tri4 Sports, more than just a cricket store. So if you're after one of those brands that I mentioned or any gear for your particular sport, whether it's rugby union, cricket, soccer, netball, rugby league, basketball, Tri4 Sports 24 Lexington Drive, Bella Vista, 838 Pacific Highway, Gordon.
Sanity, proud sponsor of the Ray Hadley Morning Show. For the latest CDs and DVDs, shop in store or online at sanity.com.au. Sanity, great service, great value.
Legal matters with Turner Freeman Lawyers in the Chris Smith Afternoon Show every Tuesday from 1:30. This Tuesday, Turner Freeman Lawyers' new Senior Associate Sheridan McMahon looks at family law. Ask your legal question on the Chris Smith page at 2gb.com and tune in on Tuesday on 2GB.
For your chance to win a BMW, enter the Stars Ultimate 4 BMW giveaway. There's one BMW to be won at 8 o'clock every Sunday night from April 12 to May 3, so start to earn your entries now. Entry is exclusive to Red and Red Plus Absolute Rewards members. Be at the draw and play on the day for your chance to win. If you're not a member, don't worry. It's quick and free to join. The Stars Ultimate 4 BMW giveaway. Enter now in time for the first BMW draw on April 12. For over 18s only. Bet with your head, not over it. Terms and conditions apply. See a casino host for all of the details. The Stars Ultimate 4 BMW giveaway. It starts April 12 and runs right through until May 3. Start to earn your entries now. Check in with the casino host for all of the details or just head into the Star in Sydney.
You're listening to Sports Zone on 2GB. Thanks to The Fiddler. Take a fresh look at The Fiddler, Rouse Hill. Go to thefiddler.com.au.
We will try and get to a few more of your calls and emails. Des Hasler has reiterated at the press conference that he apologises on behalf of the club for the behaviour. Raylene Castle, the CEO, has said it's unacceptable and she plans on finding the culprits. But South Sydney 18 beat Canterbury 17. A reminder, that other game tonight, you'll see it on Channel 9. Billy McGee with updates for our listeners on 2GB and some of our network stations. The Gold Coast taking on the Brisbane Broncos.
Why use an insurance broker like Gowgates for your company's insurances? Well, that's simple. Gowgates Insurance Brokers has developed a highly respected reputation in the industry. They've arranged insurance for some of the largest Australian companies in their field, often with the most challenging risks. Let Gowgates look at your insurance program and see what they can do for your company. They are the only ones to speak to. Visit gowgates.com.au or give them a call on 8267 9999.
Hi, I'm Sarah Belling, General Manager at the Fiddler Rouse Hill. To all the mums out there, it's your day, so you should decide where you celebrate Mother's Day. Don't end up somewhere that just isn't your style. Come and feel relaxed, comfortable and appreciated. Enjoy great food, great service, great wines and relax in the sunny courtyard or on our gorgeous veranda. We're open from 11 a.m. for lunch, bookings recommended, and you can book online at thefiddler.com.au. Enjoy your day with us. See you soon at The Fiddler.
Well, even if you're not in the market for a new car, you will be after you hear this. The invoice cost plus $1 sale was so successful last weekend, Tynan Motors Miranda has decided to do it all over again this Easter long weekend. Buy a brand new Chrysler, Jeep, Alfa Romeo or Fiat and you'll only pay the invoice cost plus $1. That's right, get yourself into a brand new Chrysler, Jeep, Alfa Romeo or Fiat for the invoice cost plus $1. I know that's where Big Man goes down to get all of his cars and have a look through all the cars as well. Tynan Motors Miranda, he loves them, that's right. They can even arrange finance with no repayments for 6 months. Pay the invoice cost plus $1 on brand new Chrysler, Jeep, Alfa Romeo and Fiat tomorrow, Saturday and Monday only at Tynan Motors, Kiora Road at Miranda. Tynan Motors, head down there and get yourself a new car.
Your website is awesome. You've invested mega bucks and megabytes to get it just right. But to get people to actually visit your retina-popping haven of HTML, you're going to need one thing.
It's a love thing.
Radio. Do you know Australians are 6 times more likely to go to the websites they hear advertised on the radio? So give your website a kick in the rankings. Just search radio.
It's a love thing.
It's a love thing.
Masterton have added even more to their fabulous Yes inclusions. Ducted reverse cycle aircon, 40mm stone benchtop, 500 by 500 porcelain floor tiles, spring mixer tap, 2.6 metre ceilings, and now sarking is included, as well as Smeg stainless steel freestanding cooker, dishwasher, and an overhead stainless steel glass range hood. All in the base price of your brand new Masterton home. Visit our Masterton Homes display village at Warwick Farm or masterton.com.au. Conditions apply.
Men, are you urinating often at night? Try Prostate Ease Max. Frank Caruso stands behind Prostate Ease Max for medically diagnosed benign prostatic hypertrophy with a money-back guarantee.
It's the way we make it that makes all the difference.
Prostate Ease Max from leading health stores and pharmacies.
You're listening to Sports Zone on 2GB. Thanks to The Fiddler. Take a fresh look at The Fiddler, Rouse Hill. Go to thefiddler.com.au.
Yeah, welcome back. Sports Zone. Mark Levy alongside David Morrow and Mark Piggy Riddell. And there is quite a few people wanting to have a chat with us on the open line, 131873. The emails are coming through at 2gb.com. Apologies for those I haven't been able to get to. And obviously plenty of people wanting to have their say about what we've seen this afternoon. We've got about 4 minutes before the news. Todd Greenberg, the head of football for the NRL, is joining us right now. G'day, Todd.
Hey, Mark. Nice to talk to you.
You too, mate. We've heard from Ray Hadley and Darryl Brohman, myself, David Morrow and Mark Riddell are out here just shaking our heads with what we've seen. Your response from the NRL, please, sir?
Oh, in simple terms, it's completely unacceptable. I was horrified to see what I saw at the end of that game tonight. I've been saying for several months now, match officials and referees need a significant amount of respect and for the difficult job they do. And the scenes here at the end from the fans at this stadium today were unacceptable. And I'll do whatever I can with the authorities here at the stadium, with the club and with New South Wales Police to make sure if we can find those culprits, they're not invited back into the game, because clearly what we saw today cannot be tolerated. I don't know if you're aware, Todd, but one of our listeners who's a relative of Darren, who's a interchange official, he's off to hospital with a broken shoulder after what happened down there on the sideline at full time. Have you spoken to Des Hasler and Raylene Castle? I'm down here at the moment, and I've just spent 10 minutes with that sideline official who's being put into an ambulance right now. And I've put my arm around him and asked him, to take away the thoughts of all of us. But clearly, that cannot happen in a game of rugby league on the sideline. Emotions are always high. There are always marginal calls in games. There always will be, and we'll always be debating those calls in games. But clearly what we saw today is completely unacceptable.
The other thing, Todd, the behaviour of the Canterbury players towards that end of that game, in particular James Graham, who is the captain of the Bulldogs, getting into the face of the referees, it's another thing we don't want to see.
Yeah, again, it goes back to my same point about we've got to have a greater level of respect for our match officials, and that's on and off the field. Clearly what I saw, I wasn't happy with, and we'll have the dialogue with the relevant parties to make sure it doesn't happen again. But it's a broader issue. Our match officials deserve a greater level of respect in the game, and I'm determined to make sure we support that.
All right, Todd, appreciate you coming on, mate. We've unfortunately run out of time, but I'm sure, and I know you're a very good rugby league administrator, you'll handle this to a T, and you'll catch those responsible for the ugly scenes we saw here at ANZ Stadium. Appreciate your time.
No problem, Mark. Thanks.
That's Todd Greenberg, the head of football for the NRL, and he certainly knows how to deal with problems. He's done that, not only at Canterbury in his former years, but with the NRL. And David, he will catch these people responsible and do what is necessary.
The thing that he said there was that we will not tolerate them in our game. So I think that when you get caught, you can expect that you will not be coming back to an NRL match.
Correct. Good on you, Dave. Thanks for hanging around, mate.
No worries. We've got it all. We're off to Lavington tomorrow. No, we're watching it in the studio at Piermont. We'll be there to watch Manly and Canberra, Mark.
It's all right for you. I'm off to Newcastle. You want to come for a drive?
Enjoy.
Thank you, Piggy.
We've already been there once this year. Don't worry.
You'll keep me. Well, the boys will keep me company. The continuous call team, that is, anyway. Apologies to those emails that we haven't been able to get to and those phone calls. Michael McLaren comes up next on for our listeners on 2GB, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to talk to you about what we saw out here. I know he's a passionate West Tigers supporter, and he knows his rugby league. But recapping all of the details, South Sydney 18 beat Canterbury 17. Controversial decision in the end, but at the end of the day, the Bunnies have come away with the 2 competition points, 40,523 the crowd, and Darryl Brohman ran through all of his details for the man of the match. Thanks very much for your company. Mark Levy's my name, the continuous call team. No doubt with more on what has unfolded here at ANZ Stadium tomorrow from midday.